welcome to today's stream of the Young Thug RICO-trial. Today, somewhat interesting. It is what I would call Cops and Experts Day. And it is interesting. There's a few moments when I listen to it that I will point out to you, but I don't want to spoil the fun. But with me, with today's fun is Ella, and you're muted.
I muted myself. That was not a sound issue. I actually muted myself whilst you were talking. We're having a few technical glitches before we got here, but now everything is fine.
Everything is fine. Yeah, and hello, and we also have hello to Sal.
How are you?
How are you doing?
I'm good. Not too bad.
Bass. Stop it.
Now, I will have another link beside. I will present the link on occasions because I have my link to the Rumble as per usual, because I stream this to YouTube, Rumble, and to Twitter. But also to Hella, because Hella, I heard there's a trial going on that you are not allowed to cover at the moment in Australia.
Yeah, because of the silly rules. Justice Lee is not allowing us to rebroadcast the Bruce Lemon versus Network 10 defamation trial, which is spicy and awesome, and everyone should be allowed to watch it and rewatch it. But no, it is live streaming right now on the Federal Court of Australia website, YouTube site, but we can't restream it. So it's very sad. And I've been doing recaps every couple of days, but unfortunately, no, can't restream it.
Yeah, that's really, really sad. Hopefully, once the trial is over, they can either release all of it or something else. But one of the reasons why the so-called rebroadcast is not rebroadcast, that the dual stream is to get Hella the last 500 hours she needs to get monetized.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if that trial gets, because I've heard it is mighty spicy.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
And when I say so good in a really
in a legal sense.
In a legal sense, it's incredibly interesting to watch, but it's also so controversial. Australians are so angry about it. And it's like our Dead versus Head in a way. Yeah.
So once that is released, or if it becomes released, or any other way it can be released.
I hope it does. Yeah. I really hope it does.
I want you to be monetized when you can actually broadcast live what happened in that trial.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that is why. So let's see.
And sub to me, I only have 44 subs to go.
Yeah,
yes.
Sal only has 40. He has
46.
the hours, but not the subs.
Yeah. I'm almost 6,000 hours.
Yeah.
I wish we could swap. I've got a few hundred extra subs, and
would make it a lot easier.
About 1,000 extra watch hours. So, and we're co-hosts. So,
So I have the link over posted there. So you can switch back and forth, give her the likes and stuff like that, so the YouTube algorithm picks her up, so she gets a number of views as well. And I will post that link on occasions.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. That would be great. That would be great. Wonderful.
Yeah, that will be wonderful. Now we had today's poll. The questions I asked in chat. How late do you think the court was today? And how trial ended. It ended with 14% thought 45 minutes. 21% of you thought 30 minutes. 28% of you thought 90 minutes. And 35% of you thought 60 minutes. Now, let's look how late the court was today. 1 hour and 32 minutes late.
To start or to finish or both?
This is,
Sorry.
I mean, 1 hour and 32 minutes until the jury entered.
At least the prosecution didn't screw up today that I saw.
Well, that's a matter of opinion. Maybe they screwed up with a witness or two, but
well, maybe in the beginning. I didn't see all of it.
Yeah. But today was interesting in... why do I cover myself? Hold on.
Yeah, just move me to the top.
No, I can do this.
There you go.
And I can do this. So Mr. Jingles can get here.
Was Fanny, is she taken off the case, or because I've heard conflicting statements?
Okay, what has happened is that Fanny has been during the pre-trial, she was leading. Then Miss Love took over for trial because District Attorney Fanny has the Trump RICO.
Yeah.
So she is now focusing on the Trump RICO.
Okay.
But the 2 first days, second week, Ms. Love has been gone. So now it's second and third chair who is running the show. So you can... I don't know how to interpret that, but I would take this more seriously than the prosecution seems to do.
I've never seen a prosecutor not show up.
Yeah.
I've seen one storm off before when the boss wasn't on the Matthew Moore trial. The DA was trying him, and she had a prior meeting. So the second chair was pissed that the judge was continuing. And he just, I'm not going to be, this is a sham trial. I'm not going to put up with this, and just storms out.
Yeah, and as Dennis, Fanny's too busy with Trump and trying to run for bigger elections of this trial. Yeah.
That's all this is.
She is, I think her term is over December 31st of next year. And I heard that she is running for Attorney General.
God.
Yeah.
Good
and
luck, Georgia.
Yeah, Sunny is over at your place, I see.
Yes, Sunny is over here. That's not funny.
For you who know British slang, that is very funny. That is very funny. Okay, so hello everybody. Thank you for being here, and I will post the link to. You have my Rumble stream posted on the top of the chat. For you who have a Rumble account, please go over and give me a follow and all the thumbs up and everything, and then you can return here and stuff like that. Yeah, so no worries about that. There was something else I was supposed to show you all, and that is last week due to how the Georgia RICO Act is written, we apparently you supporting my stream, and if any one of you does anything criminal or something like that, we could be considered a criminal street gang. So I made a little. We call ourselves apparently Jingles Viking Thugs, because Mr. Jingles is clearly our leader.
Oh yeah.
And over at my store, I made little somethings. This is what you call it, desk mat, whatever that is.
I don't know either, but it looks cool.
It's supposed to, so you can have your keyboard and stuff. Yeah. I also have pint glasses.
Nice.
And sweatpants. And pillows. I cannot help myself. Once I get, yeah. So, if you are a true member of the Jingles Viking Thugs, go over there.
Jingles Viking Thugs.
But you have to be OG.
Yeah, be an OG. Jingles Viking Thugs.
Yeah. Not an imposter.
But we are here for this trial.
Hey, Gigi.
Hi, Gigi. Yay!
Yeah, yay.
Oh, and as per usual, sound is what it is. Let me go there. And they are not that. Oh, I have that setting and 1.25 because there are a few breaks in today. They started really late. They were supposed to finish at 5 p.m., which makes the day even shorter. And there were other breaks as well. But yeah, here we go.
We'll do the trial when we do it.
He's a good-looking man. He's been fat-shamed a bit in the press. Yeah, because he's gained weight.
Yeah, but he was really thin. I mean,
was he?
Now he just put on, so he has normal weight.
I mean,
yeah, he doesn't.
5-10 pounds, but yeah, he's not. It's not like he's getting the healthiest meals.
No, and may or may not, if you smoke a joint or two, you might not have the urge for eating as well. So
is he in jail?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, he has been in jail for 1.5 years.
Okay.
Oh, we're keeping him on. Yeah, he's dressed for court today, Dennis.
Yeah.
No turtleneck?
No turtleneck today.
Or tactile neck?
Tactile neck. I like this judge.
Oh yeah, Dennis.
Yes, there's a jury on this trial. There used to be 16, now there are 15.
All right, thank you, Sergeant Ingram. All right, ladies and gentlemen, jury,
5 alternates left.
Finally, okay. All right, so, all right, ladies and gentlemen, at this point in time, we're going to continue with the presentation of the state's case. So, at this point in time, Ms. Hilton, call your next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. State call Sergeant Cornelius, please.
Summon Sergeant Cornelius, please.
I don't know, maybe boost the court audio. I'm not sure how it is for everyone. It can be different on StreamYard.
Sergeant Cornelius, good morning, sir. Sir, if you would please approach the witness stand. Once you get there, if you'd be so kind to turn and face Sergeant Ingram to sworn as a witness before you sit down.
Raise your hand. You swear affirm testimony you the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth. I do. Absolutely. Thank you. State and
That reminds me how Humpty Dumpty would look.
Jonathan Cornelius, Jonathan Jonathan, last name Cornelius, Cornelius.
Yeah, and today we get to see at least some of the witnesses. It's the prosecution who says this witness does not want to show its face, but this one apparently is not a scaredy cat.
IUS.
And good morning, Sergeant. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Where are you employed?
With the city of South Florida.
And what do you consider South?
I supervise the narcotics and gangs unit.
And how long have you been with the city of South?
3 years.
Prior to your appointment with the city of South, where did you work?
I was employed by the city of Atlanta for 15 years.
And what did you do for the city of Atlanta?
Canine handler.
Okay. And were you canine handler the entire time you were with the city of Atlanta?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Tell the jury a little about your history with the city of Atlanta.
I started out in Zone 4, Allison Court, Double Drive, all that area. I was assigned to Red Dog for about 3 years. Then I was assigned to Apex for about 3 years, and then my last 5 years I was assigned to K9.
Okay, and when you said you're assigned to K9, someone can little about what you do as a K9 officer.
We respond to any type of K9 calls, if it's whether it's narcotics related, whether it's a missing person.
Yeah, this is, I don't know which witness. I mean, I know which witness, but it's the same with car and the blunt and the gray car and stuff. So this is another witness. So apparently they are more or less trying each underlying act as it was a trial in itself. Hence, a lot of witnesses, because there are 161 underlying acts in the RICO charge alone, and there are 56 charges in this trial. Woohoo!
Just a few.
Just a few. Just a tiny, tiny, tiny little wafer.
Yeah.
To track for a missing child or something like that. Self-initiated calls, just out driving in the higher crime areas. We're tasked out to assist the DEA, ATF, outside agencies with calls when they didn't have a canine available.
Okay.
ATF? What, did you go pew their dog?
Yes. Shakona.
Shakona dog.
Yes.
Okay. And
He thinks he's a person, but he's a dog. Yes.
He thinks he's a person.
CHAKON.
And does Shakona have to go through any training in order to assist you in serving the K9?
Yes.
K9. What type of training does Shakona?
So initially, you go through the process of picking out a canine that would best work for what we need. So it would have been tracking narcotics and article, which is like evidence recovery, anything with human odor on it they can find. And then the initial is a 12-week training program where they go through, you imprint the dogs on the odors that you want them to be trained on to find. And then after that, you certify the dog with a nationally recognized certifying official.
And how often does your K9 have to get certified?
Every year.
And do you still work with Shakona now?
I retired him about 3 months ago. So he's probably at home watching this
Probably, yeah.
on TV.
Okay. I want to direct your attention to 2018, was Shakona up on all of his certifications in 2018?
Yes, ma'am.
And I want to direct your attention specifically to October 23rd, 2018. Did you have the occasion to assist Officer C. Ross with an investigation?
I did.
You're on a forum training.
Overruled.
Okay. And how did you assist with that investigation?
He notified me by radio that they needed an open air search done at 2612 Still Avenue. Once I received the call, I don't recall exactly where I was at that time, but I went directly to that call to assist Officer Ross.
Okay. And as you discussed earlier, you said that it was Shakona, your officer, your dog that was with you.
Yes, ma'am.
And he wasn't certified during that time.
Yes, ma'am.
Make sure I'm going to show you what's in market 75 and 76I. Tell me if you recognize 75 and 76I.
I do.
And how do you recognize 75?
These are Shakona's certifications each year through the NNDDA.
And what can be
National Narcotic Dog Detector Association.
okay. And is that the certifying agency that certifies all K9s?
Yes.
And
Well,
go ahead.
there's a couple of certifying officials. We utilize the NNDDA, but there are other ones out there. But this is one of the nation's top ones, which is why we use them.
And does that appear to be a fair, accurate depiction of Shakona certifications for the years of 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019?
Yes, ma'am.
You're right, this time say like the Senator States exhibits 75 and 76 is evidence. Yes, 75 and 76.
Any objection, madam? So noted. They're admitted. Yes.
Yeah. In the end of today's trial day, the judge told prosecution and the defense lawyers to use the
Microphones, yeah.
and don't watch, because even the court reporter has a hard time hearing them because she is also listening through the microphone. So she's had a hard time.
Oh, maybe that's why she's always in such a bad mood.
No, that's her normal face.
Okay.
She's had that face the entire trial, but she can smile.
Yeah.
We saw it yesterday.
Yeah.
We saw it yesterday. She can
Yeah.
smile.
Someone handed her a
We can
poo
fake it.
sandwich. I gotta say, that judge really got my respect when he did that. I was like, how many judges actually ask people? Well, not even ask people. He told.
Looking at 75.
Yeah.
Wait till you see it later.
And we want to specifically just go to kind of 2018, which was May 24, 2018. Just walk the jurors through what he has to get certified in. We talk about temperament, building search, criminal apprehension.
Oh, you can hear shuffling
So
papers
the first three, you'll
perfectly in
see
this
that there's a
trial.
line through those. Those are for apprehension dogs, which Chacon is not. If you see the fourth line, evidence recovered, he would have to find 3 items of that are placed out by the certifying official. It's done blindly to me and Chacon. So they would set the items out. They would give it a rest period and then tell me a certain area to go search. He would have to find all 3 of those items within, I believe it's a 2-minute time frame. You'll see agility and obedience are marked out because that also falls under apprehension dogs. And then area search, tracking. You'll see that that's self-explanatory. They lay a track for us. They might give it 30 minutes to an hour, and you have to successfully find the person or toy or object at the end of that track, going over multiple surfaces from grass, gravel, dirt, multiple surfaces. And then area search and all that. The rest of it, that one falls under apprehension. Yes, ma'am.
And so for Chacon purposes, he passed the test in order to go out and be able to continuously.
I stand this form.
In 2018, was he able to pass the test?
Yes.
Did he pass the test?
Yes.
All right. And was he then able to continue assisting you out on the street?
I'll let you rephrase. I'll stand the question.
So
After this, did he assist you?
Yes, Chacon met all the standards laid out by the NDDA and the Department of Atlanta.
I'll have to use the YouTube page from now on.
Yeah, I'm typing into YouTube.
If you can just walk us through May 2018 and the significance of what was passed for the certification. And
It was funny the first 2 times.
So you'll see
Yeah, and then
before,
it was like-
major narcotics up there, which is marijuana, cocaine, heroin, and methamphetamine. The others we don't train on. Like it would be something like specialty, like fentanyl or something like that. So this encompasses all the major narcotics.
And for you who don't know, there are a few states in the United States where the handling of drug sniffing dogs are in question because they can't really tell by observation of the handler and the dog who is actually doing the detecting. So we'll see how that will be handled. Because
like, does the dog just want to impress the owner, make the owner or the handler happy?
Yeah, or with certain maybe unconscious signals or whatever it's called
from the handler.
and stuff like that. Because they had some tests done. Now this is decades ago, where they put out a blind test with different cars without anybody knowing where the drug actually was, and it was kind of 50-50
really
between finding the drug and not.
So under methamphetamine, you would also have MDMA. Even though they're different narcotics, they still have the same makeup. So, but Chacon passed all of those, and these are also blind hides where they'll have, it might be a building or an office building or something like that. They'll hide the trained narcotics that are given to them by the DEA. They'll hide them blindly to me and my dog. They'll give it a cook time or a settle time, and then they'll tell me which rooms to go search. And Chacon has to find all those odors in different rooms within 6 minutes, I believe.
Yeah, but he still knows there is one kind of drug in every room.
As of May
So it's not a blind test.
He was certified for that.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, taking you, thank you so much. Now, taking you to October 23rd, 2018, tell us what occurred, what you got on the scene in Chicago.
So when I get on scene, I talk to Officer Ross. He gives me kind of a background of what's going on, so I know what I need to do. After I get kind of the rundown of what they have out there on scene, I'll do a quick walk around, make sure there's no broken glass, any objects on the ground that'll injure the dog. In this particular incident, he asked for an open air search. Open air is also named free air sniff. So you're just walking the dog around in the area to see if he picks up on any odors and then alerts to any odors or anything like that.
And you did conduct an open air search?
I did.
Okay. And what happened after you did?
So it was set up in a parking lot. I kind of did a loop around to the area where they wanted me to search. I always want to search other areas as I'm going through to just show that he's not just alerting on everything. And then once we got around to the area where they had several people detained and moved off, he pulled me to I believe it was a gray Chevy Sonic. Once he got to the Chevy Sonic, I noticed that his breathing calmed down, he slowed down, his tail starts wagging. When Chacon begins to get an odor, he gets excited, his tail starts wagging, and then you can physically hear him taking in a deep breath through his nose. And then at that point, he begins to bite at the door handle and the driver's side door handle and seam area, which is his natural alert. Not
I respond the same way when
that's just something he does when he gets in on a trained odor, and then he begins to scratch at the area where he smells the odor coming from, and which is his taught alert to the presence of the odor of narcotics or controlled substances.
And then once he alerts, what happens?
At that point, I give him his toy. That's all he cares about. That's why he works. He gets his toy. I walk him around a little more and let him use the restroom, and I put him back up.
All that he cares for is getting his toy. Yep, couldn't have said it better. That's all the dogs care for.
Yeah, so it's not like the dog has a incentive to find something.
Yeah. I mean, I can't smell it, but I want my toy. Waggy. Get my toy.
Yeah, there's a little problem in that formula.
Yeah, I've teeny tiny little. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's so sus.
Yeah, because as he described the test, it's different substances in different rooms, but he still knows there's something in every room.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's it. Also, but while we're paused, that is a heck of a sleeve tattoo.
Yeah. I mean, it's so. Yeah, I mean, it seems more like a cover-up.
It's got to be.
Yeah, because
it's a tattoo.
Whatever tattoos he has, it's more or less completely covered.
I thought that was a long sleeve shirt.
No.
Yeah, but why only on one arm?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Sir.
Let me bring up the quality so maybe we can see it better.
Or is he doing black arm?
Yeah, it could be black arm as well.
Dolly. Black arm.
Good thing he doesn't have face tattoos.
It'd be in real trouble.
That'd be awkward.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
sir.
You see on the elbow, it's a little, but that always happens because elbows are really hard to tattoo. So
or maybe he was just like out in really cold weather for a long time. Or just his arm.
Or acid burns or something.
Yeah.
It's very even.
And,
well done.
He took the case over from there.
And then as in this case, there was Chacon able to find an odor or identify an odor, and once you finish with that, does that usually include your involvement in the case?
Yes, typically if I don't have anything else going on, I'll hang out, I'll stay on scene with them just in case they need any assistance. But as far as handling the case, everything's on the officer at that point.
Okay. And does that include your involvement in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Cross.
What the hell's up with your arm, sir?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. You indicated that you walked Shakan around the area generally, correct?
Mhm.
Shakan didn't hit on a blunt that was on the ground near a white car, did it?
No, he did not.
Okay, that's all I have.
Oh, this man.
Did you hear that?
Wow.
This was where the officer collected a blunt from beside the white car that was on the ground. And this dog didn't mark for it.
Well, in the dog's defense, he already had his toy.
Yeah. No, but he walked around the cars and he marked the gray car, but
And he
not
ignored
the
the blunt.
actual blunt who laid on the ground.
Good pickup, sir.
Yeah.
Yep, nicely done.
Good dog.
No further
Good dog.
questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Thank you.
Any redirect?
No,
All right. May
Boom.
we permanently or temporarily
You-
excuse
the
Officer
perfect
Cornelius,
redirect.
Sergeant Cornelius, I should say.
permanent.
All right,
Excellent.
Sergeant
Straight
Cornelius,
to the
thank you for your
point
patience
and
with us.
bye.
I'm going to go ahead and permanently excuse you as a witness. Please don't discuss your testimony with anybody except the attorneys in this case, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, sir.
Still can't get over that, like 70-year-old white woman.
All right. Someone call your next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Today called Joshua Mason, Mason Zach?
What's his name? Mason back?
Mason Zach, M-A-C-E.
Mason Zach. Joshua Mason Zach? Okay, all right. All right, Mr. Mason Zach, good morning, sir. If you would please approach the witness stand. Once you get there, if you would turn and face Sergeant Ingram to be sworn as a witness before you sit down.
Raise your right hand. You swear affirm testimony you have made the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
This one is apparently also not scared.
Mason Tech.
Morning. My name is Josh Mackenzack. First name Josh. Last name
Mackenzack?
Macenczzak.
I mean,
And where are you
Back in
going?
Zach.
I'm currently employed in the Department of the Army as a forensic examiner.
And how long have you been in the Department of the Army?
5 years.
Prior to working in the Department of the Army, where did you work?
I worked at the Georgia Bureau of Investigation.
And how long were you with the Georgia Bureau of Investigation?
Just shy of 14 years.
And what did you do for the Georgia Bureau of Investigation?
I was a forensic examiner that analyzed evidence for the presence or absence of controlled substances.
And tell us a little bit about your training education experience.
I went to Georgia Southern University where I received my bachelor's degree in chemistry. This was one of the main requirements needed to get hired by the Bureau. Once I was hired at the Bureau, I went through their training program where I was introduced to a variety of different substances that I might see, how to analyze those substances, and how to use the many different analytical techniques that were provided to complete my analysis. I was also trained in courtroom testimony for instances such as today.
And when you were with GBI, did you have any continuing training at GBI?
Yes, every year we were given a proficiency test, which we had to analyze to prove that we were technically competent in order to do our job. We also were required to do continuing education through read-ins and meet-ins and just general journal reviews so that we can keep abreast of the new and exciting developments that are happening in the drug world.
And have you ever had the occasion to testify for an expert in forensic chemistry?
Yes, I have.
And if you know, about how many times?
Definitely over 100, but I don't know the exact number.
And have you ever testified or qualified as an expert in forensic chemistry?
Yes, I have.
At this time, the
I have-
state would like to tend to-
I have no idea what the prosecution asks, but apparently he can answer it.
What, Mr. Mackenzack?
Only someone can hear it.
Okay, all right, hearing none, the court will designate Mr. Mackenzack as an expert in the area of forensic chemistry.
Mackenzack.
Thank you so
I'm
much.
really struggling with this name.
Tell us what is forensic.
Forensic chemistry is analyzing evidence that may be related to a crime scientifically for whatever the result of the submitter is looking for, whether that be fingerprint, drug analysis, firearms, DNA.
And while you were with the GBI, what specific substances did you test as?
During my year at GBI, I would test substances that were positive for cocaine, methamphetamine, heroin, MDMA, spice, bath salts, any kind of pharmaceutical tablet that might be issued by a doctor.
I want to direct your
Bath
attention.
salts or issued by a doctor?
Were you employed with the GBI?
Yes, I was.
I will take you to DOFS case number 2017-102.
Does he get a whiplash from every time he answers towards the jury?
If I had a report to see, I can.
Come on, woman, move so we can see.
Yes, ma'am.
purchase of a gun. I'm going to show you what's been marked as State Exhibit 87. Tell me if you recognize Exhibit 87.
I do recognize this.
And how do you recognize Exhibit 87?
This is a very standard template. Sorry, my apologies. This is a very standard template that we would, for our reports would look like. One of the main ways I can recognize it is on the second page. It has my signature along with my information, email, phone number, and my name typed out.
Does he have a chiropractic appointment he has to get to after this?
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
And we're looking at how to help you today.
One more time?
We're looking at how we can help you today in the testimony.
Yes.
I mean, this time to say like tender, Stacey Exhibit 87I.
Gage Grosskreutz was more natural.
No, that's correct.
Any objection to State's 87I? All right, State's 87I is admitted.
Now, take me to the DOFS case number. Were you given items to that case?
Yes, I was.
And who were the items given? What agency submitted the items?
According to his report, the Atlanta Police Department.
And I'm going to show you what's already been admitted.
Well,
Statement.
there was a sale on Amazon. I don't know.
He went to Macy's and it was discounted.
I mean, it's a good color.
Well, I guess
me.
I went to Ross Dress for Less to get my
They do seem somewhat familiar.
outfit for court.
Well, because I don't have my notes for me from the GBI and the photos that were taken, it's hard for me to do a comparison to what I see here versus what I saw at the time I opened this. However, there are some things in here that are familiar. This is a very standard evidence bag that we received from the Atlanta Police Department. It does have the case number. When I flip it over, I see the items inside that match the description that I put on the report. And at the bottom of this one particular bag, I can see my initials I made when I sealed up the evidence after I made entry into the bag.
I wonder if he's an offshoot from the mac and cheese family.
Yes, it is.
Mac and cheese.
No, I haven't.
He's the knockoff
Oh,
version.
yes, I apologize. Sorry, I misspoke. Yes, I did see this 1B exhibit 63H earlier today.
Okay. And looking at both of these, does it have the DOFS case number as assigned on the report?
Yes, they do.
Okay. And does it appear to be the same DOFS case number on your report as it is on those items?
Yes, the case numbers do match each other.
Okay. Now, when you were asked to test those items, what items did you receive?
I received a bag of tablets. There were two different logoing prints on.
Did he now? Does he still have the bag of tablets?
So is your objection to foundation? All right, I'll sustain it to that.
So my report is in evidence right now, so he's good. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear. The report is.
Report's in evidence, so you can read from it, so I'll rule the objection.
What did you receive?
I received a bag with tablets. There were two different types of tablets based on the color and the pharmaceutical imprint that were on them. There's another sealed package that contained three different bags. All three of those bags contained solid material. And then there was one bag that contained a single blue tablet.
And when you received those items, did you test everything?
No, I did not.
Tell the why did you test all the items that you received?
There was a protocol of the GBI at the time because of the sheer amount of cases that we would get in. We could not test every single exhibit. The more exhibits we tested, the longer it would take to get through a case, and therefore our backlog would increase. So the procedure at the time was to look for certain things that would go through quicker. One of those being, is there a certain weight that we can target it more than the others? There's also the potential of, does this particular item possibly fall on a higher schedule than another one? These are all procedures laid out at the GBI at the time, and this is what I used based on my experience also to determine which item would be more bag. It had a net weight greater than 28 grams, is my understanding as a civilian.
He's an expert.
I'll rule the objection. Can I just make this a continuing objection, madam? All right, I'll make a continuing objection.
Aw.
It was a protocol of the GBI that anything over a certain weight amount should be tested first for the potential of, it was just potential of the protocol of the GBI. This one bag was over that weight, which was 28 grams. So it was the first thing I analyzed. Once I completed my analysis, I discovered it was a compound that was deemed to be the highest level that we could go. So therefore, the other items were not beneficial for testing at that time.
So when you tested item 1B, I'm going to approach you guys. Looking at State's Exhibit 63H, do you see your initial on on any of those items in there for the items that you tested?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And which
item did you test?
It was this bag right here, the largest one.
I have commentary, but I'm waiting for cross-examination on this one because it will be interesting.
Yes, ma'am.
And when you tested this one compound, what were your results?
You want to read my entire results or just a simple version? So it is a very long chemical name, but the substance that I analyzed is commonly referred to on the street as bath salts.
And what was the total weight of what you tested?
The total weight of the material inside the bag, so not including the bag, just inside, was 31.435 grams.
And again, why did you test on that particular bag?
Because again,
Overruled.
because at the time, the weight, the 31, was over the 28 that was in the GBI protocol, and that the particular compound that I identified justified that the other exhibits did not need to be tested.
Now, as it relates to the other items that were given to the GBI and to be tested, why you did not test them? Did you identify in any way what the tablets could be? Objection, speculation.
I'll sustain this to form. You can rephrase, Ronald.
Did you identify the tablets?
No, I did not.
What, if anything, did you do with the tablets once you obtained them into evidence?
So with the two different tablets that actually had a logo imprint, I was able to just do a quick Google search for what they could potentially be.
Objection.
Overruled objection.
What they could potentially be. Now, granted, this is not identification. This is just an indication, but there's an.
Objection, Your Honor.
Overruled.
It's not identification.
Overruled. And I'll note your objection.
I mean, I did a Google search. I mean, for me, pure speculation. How did you do the Google search? I mean, photo identification. Yeah, here's the thing with Google photo search and stuff like that. You might get a correct answer, but you also get a lot of false positives. So, seriously, but it was overruled.
At best, I was able to just at least indicate that it might.
Your Honor, I'm going to object. It's not just.
Overruled the objection.
It was an indication that it might be a present, but I know that any chemical testing to verify that at all.
And the pill, the imprint on the pill, is that what you, the imprint on the pill itself? Objection.
Overruled.
That is correct.
All right. After doing your testing on item 1B, did you produce this report?
Yes, I did.
And again, was it a protocol not to continue testing after you determine a certain amount?
I'll sustain that.
All right, I have another question.
Cross. Go ahead. Whenever you're ready.
Maybe use the House of Views.
Good morning.
Morning.
Will you pronounce your name for me one more time because I do not want to butcher it?
Mackenzack.
Mackenzack. All right, Mr. Mackenzack. You received the items to test in this case from Officer Chisholm, correct?
I didn't receive it specifically from him. I received it from a GBI personnel in the evidence room.
Okay. On your report, does it indicate received Officer Chisholm?
Yes, his name is on the report as the officer requesting the results.
Okay. All right. So you did not deal with Officer Chisholm directly, correct?
No, I did not.
All right. And you did not deal with Sergeant Maldonado?
No, I did not.
You do not, it would be fair for me to say that you do not know how the items you received to be tested was given from one officer to the next.
That is correct. I have no witness of how the evidence was handled before it entered the GBI.
Okay. All right. So if Officer Maldonado gave it to Officer Chisholm to give to the GBI, you don't have any knowledge of that?
I'm not even sure if that's how the order went either.
Okay. Thank you. All right. And you can't tell myself and the jury what manner the items were seized, like whether it was in a container or anything like that. You just know how it was delivered to you, correct?
That is correct. I have no knowledge of how these items were seized.
Okay. So when the items if items were seized in a pill bottle, that's not how you received it.
That is correct. There was no pill bottle here.
Okay. So you didn't receive a pill bottle at all?
No, ma'am.
That's weird because that officer testified he found stuff in a pill bottle. But he didn't receive them in a pill bottle. Isn't that weird? Let's
Unless
continue.
they separate the pill bottle and the pills. I don't know why they would, though.
Good question.
Well, let me ask you this. Let's talk about what you did receive then.
Okay.
All right. You received one bag with a few tablets, correct?
That's correct.
All right. And you received another bag with one tablet.
That is correct.
Okay, so we're at 2 bags?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And then you received 3 bags with a solid substance.
That is correct.
Okay. So total, it was 5 bags.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're sure?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so let's go over each bag one at a time, okay?
Okay.
All right. First, the bag with a few tablets. You received it in a still bag, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. All right, and you did not test that bag?
That is correct. I did perform no chemical analysis whatsoever.
Okay. All right, and then let's go to bag 2.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so bag 2, 1 tablet, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and you didn't test that?
That is correct.
All right. All right, so we're down to the last 3 bags, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I just want to make sure because I want to get it right. In those 3 bags, there was solid substance in each bag, correct? Okay. So when the arresting officer in this case stated that he sees 2 bags with substance, you received an extra bag.
All I can say is that when I opened the seal package, I received.
Yeah, the officer in his report seized only 2 bags with a solid substance, but this guy received 3 bags, and one of them just happened to be above that limit where they actually test it. Isn't that weird? Where did that 3rd bag come from? And which one of the 3 was it? And that just happened to be the one they tested, and it came back as bath salt. And which apparently in Atlanta is extremely easy to get a hold of.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Isn't that weird?
That is, wow.
You're muted, Helen.
I muted myself. I'm an idiot.
Woman.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. You can tell from my hand gestures, though, what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Officer sees 2 bags. This guy receives 3 bags, and one just happened to be over that special limit, so they actually test it. That's strange. I hate to accuse cops of manufacturing evidence, but where did that 3rd bag come from?
I mean, accident or not, that's not good.
Yeah,
and it could be an honest mistake, but I don't care.
Yeah, because that indicates handling has been compromised somewhere between these 2 cops and him. So how is this? Because I know this was in a pre-trial hearing, just to throw this out. It wasn't, apparently. And here we are, the jury listening to how 2 bags of substance magically became 3 bags of substance.
And how is the jury going to remember this in 1 year?
Oh, I'm quite sure it will be brought up during the closing argument. They will.
I guess. But
This could be the longest closing argument in history.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Imagine.
It probably will
Imagine.
be.
But here's the thing. The reasonable doubt can come in many forms.
Yeah.
Yeah, as Gigi says, it's GBI protocol to test the largest sample. And we don't know which, because they didn't weigh it on the way in to him. He weighed it and concluded this large bag, that's the one we test. We test the largest sample. And that just happened to be one of the absolutely easiest substances to get in Atlanta at the time bath salt.
Bath salts, yeah.
Yeah. You folks draw your own conclusions, but for me, I understand why in the end very few was actually brought to trial on this charge.
Yeah. No wonder they had to go to RICO.
Yeah, but it's here on RICO. I mean, it's so stupid. I mean, this mishandling of evidence alone is a reasonable doubt, because that indicates that some people may or may not be prepared to just add a little something to make the case stronger. Yeah. Now, this was back in 2013 or 2015. But anyways, here we are. 2 bags of solid substance magically became 3.
One of which isn't actually.
I'm not aware of what the officer seized at the time.
And they never tested the other one.
The officer stated that he seized only 2 bags with substance in them. You received 3 bags.
That is correct.
Okay. And out of the 3 bags that you received, you only tested 1.
That is correct.
Okay. So you have 3 bags, 1, I'm saying extra, and you only tested 1.
That is correct.
Okay. Now.
Very good attorney.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
You explained the GBI protocol to us in testing, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So if a prosecuting attorney called you and asked you to test those pills, you most certainly would have done so, correct?
Absolutely.
And you did not receive a call to test those pills, correct?
I did not know.
Okay.
Weird.
Now, the 1 bag that you did test, that bag turned out to be bath salts.
That's correct.
Not MDMA.
Not MDMA.
Okay. All right, and that was the extent of your involvement in this case, was testing the 1 bag.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, let me ask you. You have no idea who that 1 bag of bath salts belonged to?
No idea whatsoever.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
Well,
Any further examination?
Very good.
Any further redirect, madam?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go right ahead.
Yeah.
In your experience as a forensic chemist, does MDMA come in can MDMA come in a powder form?
it can.
Objection, irrelevant. There's no MDMA.
Overruled.
Can it come in a powder form as well?
Yes, it can.
And
It
are
can.
there times
I
once
mean,
are there times
this
where
is-
I can come and label one thing, but once you test it, you identify it as something else?
What do you mean by labeled?
What was marked on here? What's marked on here?
It says 2 clear sandwich bags of MDMA.
Okay. In your experience in working with GBI, are there times where I could be mislabeled?
How can they identify that as 2 bags of MDMA if it was never tested? How can you even write that on an evidence bag? Well, I have a speculation. Because you don't care, because you want to put people in prison, you have a quota to fill. I don't know. Over here in Sweden,
a little light at the end of the month.
Yeah, over here in Sweden, we kind of have the same problem with our police force, is that since drugs are highly legal here, and they need a certain amount of arrests. So it was called the stick hunt, because users are, 1 user can be 1 stick. So you just go out and collect sticks, and the more sticks you have, the better it looks in the statistics.
Of course.
Easy solvable crimes. And that is why we have high solve rate on drug charges, because I said this on prior streams. In Sweden, if you have a larger amount than 1 gram of cannabis, you automatically receive a 6-month sentence, because over 1 gram is with the intent to sell.
6 months.
Yeah. So if you are a cannabis user, do not come to Sweden, because if you test positive, you are that is also.
What about a contact high?
What?
If you test positive.
A contact high, like if somebody is smoking next to you and you inhale.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I don't recommend it.
No, I mean, would that like
that could get you in trouble in Sweden?
Okay, so just being near somebody smoking could get you in trouble.
Could potentially get you in trouble.
Wow, I thought you guys were soft on crime.
Well, once you're in prison, it's quite soft, but
yeah.
But then again, we have thousands of people each year with these stupid 1 gram sentences, and all of a sudden, all their normal life ruined because but we are doing it to help people. Yeah, sure. F that. Yeah, but let's continue with this.
Carry on.
It's not going to be able to technically find another substance or something.
So yes, that can happen.
Okay. And in this case, let me ask you, bath salts, what schedule were bath salts?
To my best understanding of the law, it's a Schedule 1 substance.
Is that what you're going to report?
Bath salts are no joke.
Yes, it is.
No, I'm serious. Like they're really
the issue of his understanding of the law. If you can ask him a question in regards to that, but I'll instruct the jury on what the law is.
What did you know the bath salts to be in this case? What schedule did you schedule?
Per GBI protocol, I was required to list Schedule 1 on the report.
And are you aware of what MDMA, what schedule MDMA is? Are you aware?
Again, just to my best interpretation of the Georgia Code, it's a Schedule 1.
So both MDMA and bath are both Schedule 1.
Again, to my best interpretation of the law.
I sustain the objection. Ladies and gentlemen, disregard the witness's last statements about Schedule 1. If it's applicable, I will charge you us to that.
Yeah, I'm going to ask for an interpretation, but objection.
Don't speak your objection, madam. If you have another way of phrasing this, please go ahead and do so. But he cannot testify about what the law is, okay?
Just a tiny bit of shenanigans. She knows this.
That's what you know that
We tried this in a pre-trial hearing.
I sustain the objection.
I have no further questions.
Anything further?
Sir, at the end of the day, what you tested was not MDMA, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And you did not test the pills, correct?
That is correct.
You cannot tell this jury with certainty what was in anything you received beside what you tested,
That is correct.
which was just bath salts.
Yes, ma'am.
Have a nice day. No further questions.
All right. Anything further? All right. Anything further read right now? May we excuse?
Yeah, I mean, how can you even testify that this is what's written on the evidence bag? No. Why do you even write that stuff on the evidence bag? It's a suspected narcotics. That's it. That's what you write. But no, you have this protocol that you only test the biggest bag of crap. So you write what you think it is on the bag, and all of a sudden it's in evidence. Ready for the jury to believe. Yeah, sure. It might have been. That's enough. Georgia rules are confusing to me. How much crap they allow in as evidence. Let's continue.
Western South Carolina?
Mr. McIntyre, permanently or temporarily as a witness? All right. Mr. McIntyre, I'm going to go ahead and permanently excuse you as a witness. Please don't discuss your testimony with anybody except the attorneys in this case, and we appreciate your patience with us, okay? All right. Thank you, sir.
And hi, Dave.
Hello. I've been trying to follow along, but my internet's been kind of weird. Did I hear this guy testify that his dog didn't find, or the first guy testified that his dog didn't find the drugs, and this guy tested stuff that was just like not the right drug that they thought it was?
The first guy, the dog handler, testified that his dog marked the gray car. Then he was asked during cross-examination that did the dog mark for the blunt who was on the street?
Yeah,
no, he didn't. Nothing else, because that's GBI protocol. On cross-examination, it she asked him, oh, well, isn't it weird? Not in these words, but the arresting officer seized 2 bags of solid material, and you received 3 bags, and you only test the largest bag, who came back as bath salt.
Oh yeah, that's right. He said that he can't testify everything because that would mean that they'd have to have people that are there to test it or something. I don't know. It sounded like it was too much work.
Yeah, too much work. So seized 2 bags, then passed through 2 cops into the evidence room, and all of a sudden it's 3 bags.
Fine.
I mean, I understand why this case was more or less thrown out when it happened back in 2013 or 2015 or whenever it was.
But now they get to bring it again.
Yeah, under a RICO charge. Or as an underlying act in the RICO charge. And that's so weird with this underlying act. They are actually allowed to bring in prior acts that people were never charged for. I don't understand it. Dave, can you explain?
Well, I mean, just because somebody wasn't charged with something doesn't mean anything. I'd be more concerned if they were charged and acquitted, and then they brought the charges under the RICO Act, which I believe is also happening here.
Yeah. There are 191 underlying charges underlying acts under the RICO charge.
Yeah.
And we'll listen to some arresting officers here where this will be brought up amongst, for example, you will hear, 6 people were arrested because they had drugs on them. And only one of them is in court now under a RICO charge for having a criminal enterprise. Not the other 5 who were arrested at the same time. Isn't that weird?
That seems odd. I don't know enough about this. So I have a question.
Yep.
Were the other ones, did they take pleas or did they just never charge them?
I don't know about these particular people.
Okay.
All I know is they are not in court for under the RICO charge. They may be testifying. I don't know, because 737 witnesses on the prosecution's list. So what they are doing is every single charge they could find the past 10 years is now an underlying act under the RICO charge. So they are more or less conducting 191.
You think they're just motivated to put these guys away with whatever they can get them on?
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. But we'll see if it works.
I think they're just going to confuse the jury.
Oh, yeah.
What are you doing there, David?
I am making oatmeal raisin cookies.
Oh, are you now? Oh, you're making cookies for the Discord?
Yes.
There hasn't been cookies in there for a long time.
I know.
There's been lots of nudes, but no cookies.
Well, we got to fill in the gaps with the cookies every once in a while.
Yeah, it was false advertising otherwise. Anyway, moving on.
So what's the length of your next witness, just give or take, guesstimation?
Probably about 20 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, you want to go another 20 minutes and then after this witness we go to lunch? Or you want to have lunch right now?
Yeah, they were 90 minutes late today, by the way, Dave.
Call your next witness, ma'am.
Thank you, Mike. We're going to call Officer Stancil to the stand.
All right, summon Officer Stancil, please.
Officer Sherrod Stancil. I hope this won't be a copy of the previous witness. For you who are old enough to know what a stencil is.
Raise your hand. You swear firm and testify to the truth, the truth, whole truth, nothing but truth, and I do. You may be seated because it's your first and last name. Explain both feet.
Sherrod Stancil, SHERROD, Stancil, STANCIL.
Oh,
And where are you?
nice.
City of Atlanta Police Department.
And how long have you been
Matching.
7.5 years.
And what is the
Tie thing.
Currently assigned to the homicide unit.
I don't like the tie and shirt match.
5 months.
Really? I
You don't like the tie?
I had a
Not
short
matching the shirt. I don't like the tie matching the shirt.
Okay, well, you
Really?
may have a tie that you'll like better.
I love it. He's hot.
Yeah, we know EU. We know.
We are
We
looking
know,
at close.
we know the guys you like.
The whole thing, the whole look, it's hot.
I think he was in the first few seasons of CSI.
with our robbery unit, and then I was with our general investigations unit, and prior to that, I was on Apex.
When were you with Apex?
From September of 2019 to December of 2022.
And are you post-certified?
I am.
And were you post-certified in January 2020?
I was.
In January 2020, was that during the period you were assigned to Apex?
Yes, ma'am.
And with, as an Apex officer, did you have a particular area in which you were assigned?
No, ma'am.
I want to take, sorry, I didn't hear you.
No, ma'am.
I want to take you specifically to January 21st, 2020. Do you have the occasion to respond via 151 Cleveland Avenue, Atlanta?
Yes, ma'am.
And is that in Fulton County?
Yes, ma'am.
What is located at 151 Cleveland?
It's on an Exxon gas station.
And why were you at that location?
Myself and my partner were at the location doing targeted enforcement. We had observed a group of males quickly flee into a gas station upon seeing our patrol car.
What happened once you saw them as quickly flee to the location?
Upon seeing the males quickly flee into the location, we stopped and made entry into the gas station.
Okay. What happened once you went inside?
We went to the back of the store by the gaming area where there's gaming machines. This is the back of the store where there's an enclosed space with a door where they keep little the electronic gaming machines at the back. And it was in that room we discovered 3 males that had run inside.
Okay. And what happened once you went inside the gate?
Took in general conversation, talked to them, and then 2 of the males came outside with us.
Okay. And what happened once the 2 males came outside?
Upon the 2 males coming outside, had a general conversation. One of them asked them, "Hey, what was going on? You know, if you have anything, let me know. We can go ahead and deal with that." And once again, it was only 2 of the males.
Okay. And did any of them say they had?
Yes, I believe Mr. Ford self-reported having a small amount of marijuana.
Okay. Mr. Ford, do you remember what his first name?
I do not.
Okay. We'll look at a copy of your police report. How refreshing.
Yes.
What are you marking?
95R.
Okay, all right.
I'm going to show you what the mark is. Identification is 95R. Tell me if you recognize 95R.
This is the police report based on our old report writing system.
Okay. And listen at your report. Does it help you refresh your memory as to the first name on the system?
It does.
Okay. What was it?
Darius.
And once he self-reported, what happened?
Yeah, I know we can barely hear the prosecutor because she's allergic to microphones. That is very common disease among prosecutors nowadays and some attorneys. But we take what we get in this trial stream. At least we can hear his answers properly. And in the end of today, the judge will tell both the prosecution and the lawyers to please talk into the microphone, because even the court reporter is struggling a bit at times.
Who has an all-white suit on?
Yeah.
Why are you bringing race into this?
I don't know. I will pause when we get
he was detained without incident.
Look back at the defense attorney. You'll see.
What happened to the other male?
The other male was free to move about, go about. He had nothing on him, so he just sat there.
Okay. And then the third male, what did they do?
Mr. BB, I observed he was not there. He actually was still inside the room, the gaming machine room.
So when you recognize he was inside the gaming room, what happened?
I went in there to speak with him and get him to come out.
Okay. And did he come out?
He did.
All right. What happened once he came out?
Upon him coming out, he was sat down, and then I went back into the room.
It was that he sat down. Where was that?
Sidewalk in front of the business.
Okay. And why did you go back inside?
Given the fact that all the males had come out except him, I wondered, okay, well, why were you staying inside into that room? You know, did you possibly leave something behind?
Okay. So what did you do once you went back inside?
I went back into the gaming machine area, and in the direct spot where Mr. BB was at, I discovered a small baggie containing half a gram of crack cocaine.
Once you found the crack cocaine, what did they do?
The first step was to detain Mr. BB and explain to him why he was being detained.
Okay. And what did you do next?
Next, we talked to the store clerk and see if we could view surveillance footage of that room and see if they had a camera back there.
And were you able to see any surveillance video?
Yes.
And did that surveillance video confirm or deny what you had picked up inside of that room?
Yes, ma'am.
And after you observed the video, what did they do?
Mr. Beebe was formally arrested. He was formally arrested for possession of crack cocaine. We had seen him take the crack out of his boot and discard it in the area where it was located.
Sorry, what to say?
I said, what happened to crack is whack. Why is everybody using crack cocaine these days?
Apparently it's amazing. I don't know.
So the cool thing, that and fentanyl.
But crack cocaine has been around since the 90s. But yeah, I don't know. People want to escape or just forget or lost the will to live. I don't know.
I don't know. I just never appealed to me.
Was he arrested?
He was issued a copy of the charges for possession of less than an ounce of marijuana.
And did you collect the crack cocaine from Mr. Beebe?
Directly from Mr. Beebe, but I did collect the crack cocaine that was recovered, yes.
And did you turn it exactly?
Yes.
Did you test it first?
Permission to approach the camera?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 79, 80, 81, and 82J. Please tell me if you recognize those.
79J is. I'm sorry.
Do you recognize?
Yes.
How do you recognize?
These, I believe, come from my body camera.
Okay. And what are they of?
79J appears to be of the vehicle I was driving today and the outside of the gas station.
Okay.
80J, once again, is from my body worn camera. It's the outside of the gas station. 81J, I believe that's Mr. Darius Ford. And 82J is Mr. Durante Beebe.
And is that a fair accurate depiction of both the Exxon gas station and Mr. Ford and Mr. Beebe from January of 2012?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, this time, say like saying Exhibit 79, 80, 81, and 82J in Saturday.
Officer Stancil, those pictures been changed or altered in any way since the time that you saw them in January?
No, sir.
Of 2020?
No, sir.
Okay. Any further or any objection?
That hasn't happened yet in this stream. But I would assume it's about their absolute lack of integrity.
Question still remains. Any objection?
Showing
Hearing none.
panning over to the defendants and stuff like that.
Are admitted and they close the GC footage.
Thank you, Ron. First, let's start with Exhibit 79. Showing Exhibit 79, if you can just orient the jury, what is Exhibit 79?
Mr. Request director, you mean?
Yes.
So the vehicle marked 31242 was the police vehicle I was operating that day, and the male standing next to it was my partner for the day, Officer Pagan. That's also outside of the gas station.
Okay.
Pagan?
And is that 151 Cleveland Avenue?
Yes, ma'am.
Looking at State's Exhibit 8 set.
Once again, that's going to be 151 Cleveland Avenue.
All right. And that was at 81 set. Who's looking at 81?
That is Mr. Darius Ford coming out of the game room.
Okay, so that's the game room that you just described earlier.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And then looking at 82J.
That is Mr. Durante Beebe.
All right. Now I'm also showing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 78J. Tell me if you recognize it, Exhibit 78.
Yes, ma'am.
And how do you recognize Exhibit 78?
I believe this is the crack cocaine which was recovered.
And looking at 78J, is this the evidence bag that you would have used in order to collect that crack cocaine?
Yes, ma'am. Evidence bag and the evidence marking tag we use.
And on here, does it have any other identifying information as to where it was collected?
Yes, ma'am. So marked on the suspect line, it has the name of Durante Beebe, which is the male that was had it.
Okay.
I mean, I just want to say like the 10.
Well, if that was the first thing before they went on record, I didn't catch it because I pushed it all up to when the jury came in. When we are done with today, I will go back and try to listen to it.
under State's Exhibit 78J.
Which one, I'm sorry?
78J.
Any objection?
You don't know why they call them up to the bench?
I don't know why they call them up to the bench. No one see what.
Saw what it was earlier. Let me check.
After arresting Mr. Beebe and giving us a copy of charge, did that conclude our law?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Cross. Anyone?
Yes.
They are going through these witnesses quite fast. That's good.
Yeah, today they went through a bunch of them.
Stancil, right? Yes, sir. All right. So let's see. Your involvement in this case is that you come to the location. As you and other officers pass that location, you see folks go inside.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that was enough to make you all stop and go inside and pursue and see what was going on, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. You hadn't seen any crime being committed at that point, right?
No, sir.
Where's this location?
151 Cleveland Avenue.
Okay. How many of you guys law enforcement officers patrolling at that time?
I can't answer that question. I'm not sure.
Okay. Roughly how many call? More than one call?
In the area?
Well, right there at the scene. What we're talking about right now.
We were the only responding car there at the time.
Okay. All right. And so, see some guys run inside a store. You guys going inside. You okay in there or
just walk in?
All right. You go back. You encounter these folks, and you make them come outside. Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. Anybody handcuffed anything like that?
No, sir.
Okay. You're just talking to them this one, right?
Yes, sir.
And at some point, if I understand correctly, you found what you believe to be a rock and crack cocaine, and Mr. Beebe was charged with that.
Yes, sir.
All right. And you remember the incident. You remember Mr. Beebe.
Yes, sir.
All right. You don't see him here, right? He's not in here.
Not to my knowledge, no, sir.
Okay. That's the only thing you charged with, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. You didn't have any reason to, and you certainly did not believe there's anything to charge him with other than being in possession of a rock and crack cocaine, right?
I charged him accordingly based on the facts of the case. Yes, sir.
All right. According to the facts of the case.
Yes,
so
sir.
what you're testifying to is exactly what happened that day, and everything was involved on that day, right?
Yes, sir.
You charged with a gang crime, did you?
No, sir.
No basis to.
No, sir.
All right. That's all I have. Thank you, Judge.
Anybody else? All right, any redirect, madam?
Nothing for the state.
All right. At this point, may Officer Stancil be permanently and temporarily excused the witness?
He should be permanent.
All right, Officer Stancil, thank you for your patience.
So they drove by, saw a bunch of guys, went in there, told them to get out of the store, and simsalabim, hocus pocus, they found crack cocaine.
Out of focus.
Yeah. Okay. I would have
really compelling testimony there. Are these guys, the guys that had the crack cocaine, were they even like the defendants or part of the defendants group?
Nope. The one person charged is not among these defendants.
Okay, good to know. So relevant.
I mean, I said this the entire time. This is a trial by volume, not by facts.
Yeah, but I mean, the facts should be somewhat connected, right?
Yeah, I mean, I hope, because they are starting off with all this tiny irrelevant stuff. I assume they, somewhere down the line, they will go over the alleged murder and bodily harm and all of that heavier stuff.
Oh, there's a murder.
They're getting there. They're getting there. That's for month 6. That's for month 6. Don't get ahead of yourself.
I didn't know there was a murder, but okay.
Yeah, there are 191 underlying acts in the RICO charge. There are also there are 56 charges and 191 underlying acts in this RICO trial. So stupid.
Give or take.
Give or take.
So I'm going to go ahead and permanently excuse you as a witness. Don't discuss your testimony with anybody except the attorneys in this case, okay? Are you good? Okay. All right.
Do we get the nerd now?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's about 12:20. How about some lunch? Okay, all right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to recess, and I'll have you come back for 1:30, and then we'll see where
maybe 2:30.
So an hour and 10 minutes for lunch.
Give or take.
Give or take.
Yeah, but we get to fast forward through that, right?
No, we're going to watch it.
We're going to watch the lunch break in real time.
Yeah.
It's a true, authentic live trial.
Exactly.
The 5 o'clock questions I've given you, if you should go out, Casey, and anybody should.
Your instruction. Let's see if they had anything.
Would you mind, over lunch, I'm going to send you a proposed instruction, what I asked previously, that unless and until a conspiracy is proven, and the jury has to learn the law from you, that these acts, just individual people's acts, unless and until you decide the law. I know you gave us a continuing objection.
Let's listen to him, then I will rewind to the white suit.
I see the white suit.
I didn't object to it. The state did. Okay, all right.
State objected.
Yes, sir. Yes.
She frowns even when she's
Your Honor, the state's going to object. We are putting up our case, and so as we're putting up our case, there's an instruction we believe will be improper at this juncture, given that we are in our early stages of our trial. We're putting up our case. This is a conspiracy case, and that can come at the end. Now, at the end,
I missed the objection.
What was the instruction?
Yeah, since what he testified to has nothing to do with these defendants. They want an instruction that a conspiracy has to involve the people they are charging with the conspiracy. And she.
Oh, you mean an instruction on the proper application of the law? No, we don't want that, says the state.
Play it in the end after we piled on a lot of unnecessary stuff, and then we will get to the good stuff when you can remember.
This is what they did with the Whitmer kidnapping trial, remember? They talked about all the stuff that other people did, not involving the defendants, and then tried to pin it on him. And that's where the judge said, what we're doing here is, we're establishing this culture, and then we're going to tie it into the defendants later. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. I swear, being an MLSN is going to get me convicted.
The jury can decide whether or not these are individual acts or not, but we are putting up our case. We have alleged that the individuals we are putting up, these cases are part of the conspiracy. And so we are putting up our case. And it really would be improper to instruct the jurors at any point in this time about the particular acts that we're putting up and how we're putting up our case.
At this point, Mr. Steele, I'm inclined to just to wait till the end of the case and determine if that, based on the evidence presented, whether or not I'll give an instruction as of that. But I mean, you're welcome to send it to me, send it to the state. I'll look at it, but I'm not inclined at this point in time to go ahead and give such an instruction, okay?
John, you like the cookies?
Without a continuing objection, sir. I want to say that for the record. Okay? But you're welcome to send it to me. I'll take a look at it. All right, we're in recess. See you all back at 1:30.
2, maybe 2:30 at the latest.
So?
Granny.
Where is he? There! That's the he's the local preacher, I think.
Why is he dressed like Colonel Sanders?
He hasn't got the
white suit. I do not like the white suit.
No.
It really contrasts his natural coloring. But that said,
it really gives that thug life feel.
It does. It does. I think, is that his mother next to him? I wonder. Because
no, that's a lawyer.
Oh, it's a lawyer.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Gee. Her look is quite striking.
Yeah, she looks like a. Never mind.
Okay. What were you going to say, Charlie?
Nothing.
Nothing.
It's all bad.
No, I was going to say something bad. I mean,
you were.
No, not that bad, but it could be interpreted. I don't know.
Yeah. Later on, he's going to
like a basketball from the 1990s.
Later on, he's going to perform his testimony in dance. Disco Fever.
Disco Fever. It's got a little bit of a John Travolta thing going on, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't care about these people. And we are way past 1 hour and 10 minutes. We are way past 1 hour and 10 minutes. We are approaching 1 hour and 30 minutes.
Looks like he's holding something in his mouth.
Oh, there.
Oh,
there he
Lord.
is.
Did his mom drive him to court today? What level is he in World of Warcraft?
Oh, I saw a little bit of this guy's testimony earlier. Who is he?
I think he's a paladin in Dungeons and Dragons.
Let's see. Go back.
Ah.
Yeah, here's the thing. Law and Seward missed his name.
Of course they
So
did.
we don't know. But apparently he is a forensic chemist. And he looked... Oh.
Well, I was going to say he looks
name
the part,
said.
right?
We lost
Because
Hella.
he was afraid of being bullied.
We lost Hella.
Oh, she'll be back.
Who's Hella?
Yeah, I mean... Oh no, he found crack cocaine in Fulton County. Ooh. Yeah. But
my mom drove me to court today. Look at how
I'm kind of hoping he has a really dark, rumbling voice, but I don't think
doesn't.
so. Let's listen to it.
He doesn't.
It's gonna be squeakier than Sal's.
The way he holds the way he holds that mic, I think that's muscle memory.
His testosterone is lower than mine.
Yeah, for all you who are completely new to my channel, sometimes we break out in shenanigans too.
Yes.
Hello again.
Hey.
We take it seriously, but we also tell jokes.
Yeah. We take it, but in all seriousness, we have to put in some personality in it.
Yeah. We have to entertain.
Good afternoon.
Are you employed?
I am.
And where are you currently employed?
I'm employed with UL Research Institutes.
It's a little deeper than I thought.
Have you had other employment prior to your employment with that institute?
I have.
Can you describe for the jury what that employment consisted of?
Yes. Prior to UL Research Institutes, I was employed by the Georgia Bureau of Investigation Crime Lab.
And prior to that, I got beat up in high school.
It was about 7 years, give or take. A couple of different periods within that time.
Is the Georgia Bureau of Investigation also known as the GBI for short?
Yes.
I'll be referring to it that way from now. Okay. All right. And what did you do while you were at the GBI?
I was a forensic chemist.
And when did you begin your employment at the GBI?
In 2012.
Okay. And about when did you conclude your employment with the GBI?
So the first period I was employed by the GBI was from 2012 to...
He is an anorectic co-burger.
He's an even bigger nerd than he is.
2016. At that point, I went to graduate school to pursue my master's.
I'm sure he's very
after that,
competent.
I returned to the GBI from beginning of 2019 to the end of 2021.
Okay. And where did you go for, can you describe any undergraduate experience you had?
Yes, I have my Bachelor of Science in Biochemistry from Georgia Tech.
And you did indicate to the jury that you had a master's. Where did you go to get that?
Sure, my master's in chemistry from Georgia State University.
When did you complete your undergraduate degree?
My undergraduate was completed in 2012.
And when did you?
His undergrad was completed 11 years ago. At age 11? I mean,
how long has he been doing this?
He completed his undergrad in 2012. He's no longer employed by the GBI, but he was there for 7 years. I mean, he must be close to his 40s.
I graduated when the level cap in World of Warcraft was 90.
I mean, this is pre-Captain America.
The old hammer on the stand.
Oh.
My God, Sal's dying.
Sal's dying. Send super chats and gifted memberships, and I promise I will help Sal recover.
Excited. Are you dual streaming this?
Yeah.
Oh, you are.
I'm dual streaming it.
Yeah. Hella needs hours. So
I need
Hella,
hours.
Yeah.
Okay,
so,
I'm over there now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Killed me.
I mean, I have all the hours and I always need more hours and more subscribers. I'm not saying that, but Hella needs the last 500 hours so she can be all ready and prepared for if that defamation trials, if that gets released, so she can cover it properly, and you all can thank her for it.
I need it for everything.
Yep.
I need it for all the things.
all the things. But let's
and everyone needs to sub to him as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's continue with this.
Hello,
I can't say if he's 23 or. I mean, if he's close to his 40s, he will look 50 when he's 100.
I mean, he has good genetics. I'll give him that.
Well,
he graduated in 2012. Is that what they said?
Yeah.
Yeah. He finishes undergrad in 2012, and that in biochemistry, and I think that's at least 4 years.
Boy, in 10 years, he might lose his virginity.
Yeah, that would be 4 years, so 18. So it'd be like 22 roughly in 2012.
Yeah, unless he's a prodigy, then he might have done a.
So he's only like 36 or something.
Yeah.
He's older than me. Now I feel really depressed.
33. It's not that young or not that old.
I'm 32.
Well, he's more successful than you.
That's 2018.
Lord. Yeah, in World of Warcraft.
While you were working at the GDI as a forensic chemist, were you required to go through any specialized training? Yes, I was. I completed the approximately 9-month-long training program. Okay. And at the time, during the time that you were working at the GDI, were you in any way required to hold any certifications to do the work that you did? We were not required to hold certification. However, I was certified as a fellow in drug analysis by the American Board of Criminalistics during my first period of employment there. And
I'm not so sure he should talk about periods.
Currently, I'm a member of the American Chemical
Society. We don't know how he
identifies. What do you enjoy being part of that professional association? Sure. The American Chemical Society, or ACS, is just a professional organization for chemists. It's an international organization that provides access to conferences, training, networking opportunities, and things like that. And how long have you enjoyed membership in that professional association? For the ACS, it's been about 3 or 4 years, I believe. And what is required to become part of that association? That is just a simple sign-up membership. That's it. All right. And have you ever been admitted to testify as an expert in the area or field of forensic chemistry? I have. And how many times would you say? I'd say about 15 plus times. Okay. And have you ever been qualified as an expert within Fulton County to testify? Within Fulton County, I believe once or twice, yes, but I'm not sure. Okay. And have you always testified in the area or field of forensic chemistry? I have. Can transition here, Mr. Guidance. Can you describe to the jury what forensic chemistry is? Sure. Forensic chemistry is basically the analysis of a substance to determine the presence or absence of a chemical of interest, a controlled substance. And so it's basically chemistry within the scope of the law. Excuse me. And what kind of information can the results of the analysis performed by forensic chemists give us? It can tell us whether or not the item of evidence contains or does not contain a controlled substance. And when you say controlled substance, can you identify for the jury what you mean? Controlled substance being anything that's written in the law that's either illegal or in some other way controlled by a pharmacy or by some other entity. Okay. And what kind of
he's making up that definition.
Did you test for during your time intervals at the GDI? Sure. I tested for any number of controlled substances. I don't know. Would you like me to name a few? Yes. Sure. Cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine, marijuana.
He does.
Those are just
he does have Mark Jensen
vibes. Did you have
vibes.
any other duties at the GDI other than testing for controlled substances? No, I did not. And
sir, how many penises do you have on your hard drive?
Sure. Have you personally had the
you collect pictures of penis on your time?
Yes, I have. And
he's in the 21st century. It's on his phone.
Rough number of how many times you perform such analysis? I'd say well over 5,000 cases I've worked. Okay. And what type of instruments did you utilize while at the GDI to conduct such analysis? So we used a number of different scientific instruments and techniques to conduct the analyses. Would you like me to give a few examples? Sure. So we usually use a balance if we have to weigh a substance. So that's a pretty simple test. After that, we kind of split our tests up into what are called preliminary and confirmatory tests. The preliminary tests include things like thin layer chromatography or TLC. They also include ultraviolet spectroscopy or UV. And then some of the confirmatory tests that we do are kind of those techniques that give us
a specific identification of a substance. So things like gas chromatography, mass spectrometry, otherwise known as GCMS, as well as infrared spectroscopy or IR, FTIR.
Now, you just used some big words that are far greater than I'm able to understand. Can you, for the purposes of the jury, explain a little bit about what you're talking about when you use those words such as gas chromatology and infrared spectrometry?
Spectroscopy. Sure. So the preliminary tests, like I mentioned, for TLC and UV. So UV, I can use that as an example. Ultraviolet spectroscopy. All that is basically shining a
Okay, got some information here about the person who was ultimately convicted by possession of cocaine, Deronte Beebe. And he's no longer part of this case at all. But they are still bringing it into this RICO trial because they claim he is an associate of YSL. But he is no longer a part of this trial. And he took that plea January 21st, 2020.
Well, that's fine to do. You know, it's fine to try defendants separately even for different crimes.
Yep.
As long as they can. As long as they can tie them together somehow.
Yeah, but this RICO wasn't even on the docket at all. That this started in May 2022. So this was a year and a half before that.
Yeah, but that's still okay as long as they have facts to tie them together.
Okay.
UV light on something, a solution to kind of give me an idea of what may be in the sample. And those preliminary tests also, they also serve to separate the components of the mixture. So a lot of times substances that are received for testing are mixtures. We have to be able to separate those mixtures into their individual components. And after we separate those, we also have to identify them. And that's kind of the second part, the confirmation testing that we do.
And can you describe a little bit about that confirmation testing, that process or procedure that goes into it?
Sure. So it's I will say a more specialized kind of chemical technique is all it is basically. It's something that's able to kind of literally break apart the molecules that are in the sample and give us an idea of what they are.
And after the molecules, to use your words, are broken apart, how are you then able to determine what they are?
Sure. So most of the tests that we do, most of those confirmatory tests and some of the preliminary ones as well, give us a graph. That's all it is. It's just a piece of data that we look at and we can compare it to a known reference standard, for instance, and that helps us in our identification.
And when you say known reference sample, what do you have in mind?
So if we're looking for a controlled substance such as cocaine or methamphetamine, we have a reference standard, so a pure sample of that substance that we can test at the exact same time and compare it to our results.
Is it fair to say that the known reference sample is the type of thing you're looking for?
You guys get that?
Yeah.
The government has these drugs in their possession. They manufacture them and utilize them.
Of course. What do you mean by that?
Better than the FBI.
So the results we receive are either we found a controlled substance or we haven't found a controlled substance.
And the type of testing that you kind of been walking us through, is this the type of testing that is generally accepted within the scientific community?
It is.
And do courts typically allow experts to testify about such subject matters for, say, a trial?
Yes.
Okay. And are there standards while you were at the GBI that control how the testing is performed within your particular division?
Yeah, so the GBI is what's known as an accredited agency. So you think about professional certifications, accreditations at any kind of job. And the GBI is no exception. The GBI has that accreditation, and that accreditation allows the GBI to follow a specific process for their testing. And that testing is governed, that accreditation is governed by an international body that sets down these regulations.
Okay. And those regulations that you're describing, that international body, did you follow them?
Yes.
Okay. And are there best practices associated with the type of testing that you did?
Yeah, those best practices would fall under that accreditation.
And is forensic testing within the chemistry background something that an average person can do without any specialized training?
No.
Okay. Brian, at this time, the state moves to qualify Mr. Patrick Chapitis as an expert in the scientific field of forensic chemistry.
Anybody wish to voir dire Mr. Chapitis? Anyone? All right, and the court will designate Mr. Chapitis as an expert in the area, or qualify him as an expert in the area of forensic chemistry.
Okay. At this time, Mr. Chapitis, I want to ask you, did the laboratory, GDI, receive any evidence pertinent to the reason for which you're here?
Yes.
And what evidence did the laboratory receive pertinent to this case?
Well, if I could see it, I would, or if I could see a copy of my report, I would tell you, sure.
Just a brief overview, Your Honor. I should have asked my approach. Thank you, Your Honor. Now approaching you with what has been admitted in evidence and pre-marked as State's Exhibit 78J. Mr. Chapitis, what have I had you?
So what I received to test in this case would be 1 bag of solid material.
Okay. And from what you are looking at, can you identify when the laboratory received the evidence?
When the laboratory received it, no, I can tell you exactly when I received it. It would be February 17th, 2020.
And after you received that particular piece of evidence that's already been admitted, can you tell the jury what you did with it?
Yes. So first I verified all the information on the package. And the way we usually do that is by, when it's received to the laboratory, the evidence receiving technicians would take pictures of it and give it a unique GBI case number here, as you can see on this barcoded label on both sides. I would first compare the pictures, make sure that the barcoded sticker has the case number that matches what I'm seeing in front of me. And then I would open it up and then begin my analysis, and that would typically begin, and in this case, it began with weighing the substance.
And the material that I handed you, to be sure, is in fact what you tested when you read the GBI.
It is the sample I received and took a sample of to test, yes.
What color is the material that you have in front of you?
It looks to be white to me.
And can you describe the texture or feel of that particular evidence?
It just looks like it's a block of substance.
Is it solid material?
It is, yeah, solid material.
And can you describe for the jury where you received that evidence from?
Where I received it from was the Atlanta Police Department.
Was there a case number associated with it from the Atlanta Police Department?
The Atlanta Police case, according to the label, is 2002-11823.
And for this particular piece of evidence that you performed an analysis of, can you describe what that analysis consisted of?
Yes. So, like I mentioned a little bit ago, was that first I weighed the substance, and all that is I took a net weight, which means I took the entire sample out of the packaging and weighed it on balance. And once I had that information, I could continue on with my testing. The first test I did was one of those preliminary tests. In this case, it was thin layer chromatography, or TLC. And all that is a separation technique where I take a little, I take a little bit of the substance, dissolve it in a liquid, and I have a glass plate with a film on it, and I basically spot a drop of the sample solution on that, and that's able to separate out all those components in the mixture that I talked about earlier. And at the exact same time, I spotted a solution of reference standard as well. And then at that point, I was ready, after forming some preliminary conclusions about what may be in the sample, I moved on to one of those confirmatory tests, in this case GCMS, or gas chromatography mass spectrometry. And all it is, the first part, GC, is the part that separates, again, the components in the mixture. And once those components were separated,
I'm bored.
And the mass spec is what gives me that graph that I can compare to my reference standard and say, hey, this is what I have. And
I'm sorry, are you saying what every first stage has ever had?
Did you reach a conclusion?
I did.
What was the conclusion?
My analysis confirmed the presence of cocaine in the sample tested.
Okay, good. It was cocaine. Move on.
My mom never let me talk to those people.
It was.
And is that commonplace at the GGI?
Yes, every case that gets called into court is peer reviewed.
And with respect to testing, is there no error rate or anything associated?
In this case, since the substance was not, we didn't get a quantitative result on it. All I did was get a weight. The only thing that would be subject to that would be the weight of the substance.
And what was the weight?
The weight was less than 1 gram.
Less than 1 gram.
Okay, and
damn, these guys are gangstas.
On this particular test, on this particular solid material, did you follow the standards and protocols that you outlined for the jury earlier during our conversation?
I did.
And Mr. Chapitis, after you perform the analysis within the lab that you described, what else, if anything, do you do?
After I perform the analysis, I would generate a report to state my results.
Okay, now showing you what has been pre-marked as State's Exhibit 88J and has already been previously served with this defense counsel in discovery. Your Honor, may I approach the witness? Mr. Chapitis, what have I just handed you?
My report for this case.
And how do you know that that's your report?
It has my GBI case number on it that matches what's on the evidence, and it also has my name and signature on it.
And has that report that I've handed you been altered in any way, form, or fashion since the time that you talked to me?
No, it has not.
And Your Honor, at this time, the state now moves to admit State's 88J.
Any objection?
Yes, sir.
Any objection to State's 88J?
Yes, sir. I'll object under the Competition Clause was made for testimonial purposes, Your Honor, and if the court does admit it, I would object under the continuing witness rule.
I'll deal with the issue second, later. As to the first basis for your objection, I'm going to overrule that, and I'll admit it over your objection to State's 88J. Nick.
Okay, Mr. Chapitis, on that report that you have in front of you, is there a particular name by whom, was this testing requested by anyone?
It was requested by the Atlanta Police Department.
Okay, does your report include a name from anyone from the Atlanta Police Department?
Yes, it says S. Stancil.
And is there a person associated with as a subject for whom that substance is on?
Yes, Durante Beebe.
And the substance that you tested, did you conclude on your report where it fell on the drug schedule?
Yes, it fell under Schedule 2.
And at that time, this to the defense ready for
All right, cross. Anyone? Anybody else? Okay.
I'll be back.
All right. May we permanently or temporarily excuse?
Okay. They will be back.
Mr. Chavitis. Sir, I'm going to go ahead and permanently excuse you as a witness. Thank you for your patience with us. Don't discuss your testimony with anybody except the attorneys in this case, okay? All right, thank you, sir.
Thanks.
All right.
Your Honor, I am approaching the witness stand to retrieve the evidence, and at this time, the state.
Before you move on, you just identified State 78A. You have a tentative, is that correct?
It was a conviction.
Who was it admitted by?
Just a brief one, Your Honor. It should have been admitted by way of Officer Stancil.
Jingles is around here somewhere. I know that because 2 minutes before the stream started, he decided to attack my leg. So he's around here somewhere.
He's around somewhere. You know that for sure.
70, maybe phonetically, it may have gotten lost in translation. It should be 70.
Where's mine?
I'll ask the OC documents for their analysis, what they are for the jury.
Okay, just generally, I think they're supposed to do that.
Excuse me, I'm going to find my cat.
He hasn't identified it for the record yet, so. No, just, what is it you want to tell me?
Yeah, Jingles gonna kick.
Oh.
I have seen it.
All right, well, come up and have a look at it then.
Your Honor, if I may, defense counsel has had the opportunity prior.
Well, let him look at it again, just to make sure he's satisfied.
Everything. I just want to know what's in your head.
another piece of evidence that this particular lawyer, or what are you trying to introduce here? And yeah. All lawyers gathered around. What is this?
Thank you, sir. Thank you. We good? Mr. Sharp?
I'll let, is he submitted?
No, I don't know what because you interrupted. He hadn't finished when I was talking, you interrupted him. So let me just kind of see what's on the table.
Yes, sir.
All right. Yes.
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, at this time, pursuant to Rule 24.901 of the Georgia Code, the state now moves to admit Exhibit 83J into evidence, which is a certified conviction for Mr. Durante Beebe. And if the court should like to see it, I can provide that at this time.
Yeah, they want to introduce the conviction of a person who is not part of this trial.
States Exhibit 83J, as in Jacob.
I'll ask the presenting that go beyond the certified conviction. So would be expected the introduction.
Can I see it?
Yes, Your Honor. May I approach?
Yes.
And
all right, start radio. You don't need to press that button at all. Just talking to the mic. Just talking to the microphone. Okay.
And sidebar counter number 27. Oh. First sidebar of the day. I'm amazed. Yeah, they have fought in pre-trial hearings about this, and the judge has always moved it forward to, I will handle it when they try to admit it as evidence. And now we're there. Sorry. Let's see how long they go. Still going. Still going. Still going.
September.
So September of this year?
Yes.
Okay. And September of this year, what unit are you assigned to?
Zone 2.
Oh,
and what are you?
We're calling next witness. Members of the media, this particular witness, I'm going to ask that you not film just this witness, okay? Thank you. You can still do audio and many other things, but it was brought to my attention, given the work this person does, that we probably shouldn't video them at this time. Okay? All right. Okay, call your next witness.
Yeah.
Officer Applewhite.
All right, Officer Applewhite, summon him, please.
Officer Applewhite, to the stand. And that sidebar took a while.
All right, Officer Applewhite, sir, if you could please approach the witness stand. Once you get there, if you'd be so kind and turn and face Sergeant Aaron, which one's witness before you sit down.
You swear affirm testimony give the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth.
I do.
Have a seat. States first last
Where's
name.
Jingles?
Ian Applewhite, IANAPPLEWHAIT.
We got a cat. And we got a witness who
Looking for my friend
supposed...
Jingles.
Yeah. I don't know where he is.
No. Oh, where's Babu?
Oh, scratching the couch right now. Stop.
Oh. Yeah. That's at least one kitten sight of today. We will see if Gingos will join us before the end of the stream.
It's all right. Don't worry. There'll be cats here soon.
Hmm.
Edie. He's not happy.
Culparis came into the case very skeptical of the defense. I was assuming there are going to be a lot of self-snitching on social media evidence of crimes. Well, there has been. I mean, they are publishing videos on Instagram stories and stuff like that. That one of these is already in evidence, and there will be more, and more, and then on occasions. The state will try to introduce Mr. Williams' lyrics as evidence, but they will have a short outside of the jury hearing, and the state has to lay the foundation for it. And looking at what how this judge has handled it so far, he will allow it.
I'll allow it.
Yeah.
Oh,
But let's listen to Mr. Applewhite.
Good afternoon, sir.
How you doing?
Good. Sir, where are you presently going?
I'm in the police department.
And in what year did you start with APD?
I started in June of 2016. I got sworn in 2017, January.
Okay. And what unit were you assigned to when you started with APD?
Zone 4, Even Watch.
And how long were you in that unit?
Approximately 2.5 years almost.
And what was your responsibilities in the Zone 4?
I was a beat officer. I was assigned to 403's beat. Just patrol, answer 911 calls. If I do have downtime, I do proactive work.
Okay. And were you your entire time with Zone 4? Were you always assigned to Zone 4?
No. Well, I was also part of the Zone 415. Then I went to the gangs unit as a gang enforcement officer, then auto crimes enforcement officer, and now I'm in Zone 2.
Okay. So what years or what months were you in the gang unit?
I want to say it was April of 2021 to January 2022, something around there.
Okay. And you also mentioned the auto crimes unit.
Yes.
What years were you in the auto crimes unit?
Started February of 2022 until I'm confusing myself right now. February of this year, sorry, till September.
So September of this year?
Yes.
Okay. And September of this year, what unit are you assigned to?
Zone 2.
And what are your responsibilities in Zone 2?
Answer 911 calls, during my downtime, I do proactive work.
On or about May 9th, 2020, what unit were you assigned to?
Zone 415.
And were you post-certified on May 9th, 2020?
Yes, sir.
Now, what is proactive work?
So if the pending calls for services are low, you usually will go out, try to conduct a traffic stop, or you might want to go to a high drug area and try to get, some drugs or something like that.
You mentioned high drug area.
Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar with high drug areas based on your, will you tell the jury, what unit did you become more familiar with the?
With the Zone 415.
Are you familiar with 151 Cleveland Avenue?
Yes.
How are you familiar with it?
I did an undercover buy at that location.
And why did you do an undercover buy?
Zone 315, they were conducting a detail and they asked for Zone 415 assistance. My role was to do an undercover buy at different locations within Zone 3.
About how many undercover buys do you typically?
So it depends. I mean, if we get a lot of people, maybe that's it for today. If we get one or two, then we probably move to the next location.
On May 9th, 2020, did you have a reason to visit 151 Cleveland Avenue?
Yes, sir.
Why? Tell me why you visit 151 Cleveland?
So again, Zone 3 was conducting a detail. This is one of their high crime areas, and they wanted to do a little, and try to put an impact on the drug sales in that particular area along the Cleveland corridor. So
get going.
They asked me
I'll see you guys later.
to go undercover, try to buy some drugs.
Bye, darling.
So
I was pointed to that direct location by one of the Zone 3 officers. So there might be something going on in there. So I walked in.
All right.
As I walked in, there was a male who was wearing white pants, white shoes, with a blue jeans jacket. He was standing somewhat in the doorway. I walked in. I just asked him, "You got some smokes?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "How much you want?" I said, "I got a 20." He reached in his pocket, goes some.
Yeah, this is an undercover, and they use him a lot to buy drugs, and then send in the cavalry. So this is what he is testifying to at the moment.
Read out, wrapped it up into a lottery ticket. I paid him the 20. He said, "Hey man, here's my phone number." I got his phone number, and I left. Once I got back into my car, I left the location, update the takedown units of the sale, give them a description of the mill that I bought the weed from, and just proceed to the next location.
Okay. So based on your experience at Zone 4, your time in the gang unit, time at Auto Crimes unit, and your current assignment at Zone 2, is, in your opinion, is 151 Sweden having a known gang area for high crime area?
Yes, sir.
Now, you made reference to a transaction at 151 Sweden Avenue. Can you kind of walk me through that transaction?
Okay, so I pulled my undercover vehicle up at the pumps. At the same time, I do have close cover who are somewhat in the area just in case something goes wrong. I exited the vehicle. I walked into the store. Again, he was somewhat in the doorway. I walked in. I approached him. "Hey, man, you got some smokes?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "What you want?" I said, "I got 20. I gave him the 20. He rolled up some marijuana, dropped it into a lottery ticket, one of those things you find at the counter. Rolled it up, I handed him the money. As I was about to walk off, he said, "Hey, big bro, here's my phone number." I took his phone number.
I'll rule objection.
Officer Applewhite, in what capacity were you working on May 9th, 2020?
Undercover.
And how many undercovers had you, how many times had you gone undercover before?
That actually was.
I'm sorry, he said that.
No, shadows. I'm gonna rule objection. I'll sustain objection, should say.
Who did you come in contact with on May 9th, 2020?
I think it's John Travis. I'm sorry, hold on. DeAndre BB. Yeah, DeAndre BB.
Yeah, this is the guy who has nothing to do with this
trial. What was the location of the sale?
He claimed he's an associate.
What was that?
It's
YSL.
It's in Fulton County, yes.
What did Mr. BB tell you?
Marijuana, or suspected marijuana.
Did you tell Mr. BB that you were an officer?
No, sir.
What did you do after you purchased the marijuana from Mr. BB?
I immediately left the location and I relayed the information to the takedown units. One of the close covers from Zone 3, he met up with me, I believe it was at the Walmart on Cleveland Avenue, and I gave him what I bought. And then I went to the next location or to Zone 3 to write my supplement report. To write a supplement report.
Did you clearly describe Mr. BB to the other officer?
Yes, sir.
And what was that description?
Black male, white pants, white shoes, blue jeans jacket.
Did other officers respond to the scene?
Yes, the Zone 3 fit and Zone 4 fit team.
About how many details have you participated in with Zone 3?
I'll rule the objection, Mr. Steele.
A lot. About over 4.
Okay, and what do those details consist of?
High crime area. Sometimes we do details for stolen vehicles, warrants, or drug area.
When other officers responded to the scene, were you still present on scene?
No, sir, I was gone.
And did that basically complete your investigation with this matter?
Yes, sir.
That's the witness, Your Honor.
Cross. Mr. Sharp. Oh, Ms. Adams.
Applewhite?
Applewhite.
Wait.
Yes, sir.
Like A. Okay. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
I have just a couple of questions for you in regards to what you just testified about. Okay. And if you don't hear me, if you don't understand my question, please get my attention. Let me know. I'll be happy to repeat. Okay. All right. So This is May of 2020 that we're talking about in this case, right?
Correct.
All right, this incident happened back then, and then you were part of the Zone 4 FIT team. Did I get that right?
Correct.
Okay. You were working in what is called an undercover capacity.
Correct.
Now, you used some terms earlier that I want to talk to you about. You talked, for example, about high crime area.
Correct.
Right? Zone 4 is a particular portion of the city of Atlanta, right?
Correct.
There are many different zones in the city of Atlanta.
Correct.
There are very many high crime areas in the city of Atlanta.
Correct.
Zone 4 ain't the only high crime area in Atlanta, right?
Correct.
All right, so although we're talking right now about an area that someone says is a high crime area, you can go to areas of Buckhead, Atlantic Station, where there's a lot of, where there's drugs being sold, right?
Correct.
You talked also about the high drug area, right?
Correct.
There are a lot of high drug areas in the city of Atlanta, on there. And it's not just Cleveland Avenue.
Right.
Right? It would be incorrect to say that the only place there are drugs sold or where there's crime that takes place is Cleveland Avenue. That wouldn't be accurate, right?
Correct.
Right. In fact, if as a police department or police officer, you chose to target a high crime area and you wanted to go into somewhere in Buckhead, you could find a high crime area in Buckhead to target, right?
Correct.
To do undercover buys at, right? To find people who sell weed, correct?
Correct.
On this day, you went, you didn't go on your own. You were told by, I presume, correct me if I'm wrong, other members of the FIT team about this particular location. Right?
Correct.
Right. I mean, they could have sent you anywhere else. As a matter of fact, if I heard correctly, you said that there are a couple of different areas that you would go to. You maybe hit one area, right? And depending on, I'm sorry, I keep taking glasses on. I got to see. Let's see. If we get a lot of people, then you move on, you go to another area.
No, so if I have, let's say we arrested 10 people, that's a day's work right there.
That's a good day.
It's a day's work.
Okay.
It takes a long time to process the evidence, the warrants, the transportation. So again, if I get one person, then we'll move to the next location.
Go to somebody else.
Another location. I don't,
You got a number of people. I mean, you said there's one person.
Yeah, right.
There's 10 people.
Right, gotcha.
One person, you got more work to do.
Right.
10 people, I'm done for the day.
Right.
Okay. You ever heard the term weed man?
Say it.
Weed man.
Weed man?
Yeah. You know how sometimes folks, I don't know, college kids, regular kids, adults, young folks go looking for the weed man, go buy some weed.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right? You heard that term before.
I've heard.
There is such a thing called a weed man, right?
Yes.
Okay. Sometimes it's one man. Yeah. Sometimes it could be a woman. It could be a weed woman, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Weed woman.
When you got to, what's the address? 151 Cleveland Avenue. You're there to do the undercover buy, right?
Yes.
You are dressed in an undercover capacity. You look like a regular dude.
Right.
And you encounter this guy that you referenced earlier who is in white clothing, I think you said, right?
Correct.
You walk in and you approach him and you ask him if you got anything.
Right.
You were looking to buy some weed.
Correct.
And lo and behold, you bucked up on the weed man and you got $20 worth of weed, right?
Correct.
Okay. And I think I heard you say that, and then this was a young, his name was BB.
Right.
I think you said Durante, something like that?
Durante, yes.
Okay. He gives you $20 worth of weed in a, what do you say, a lottery ticket or something?
Yeah.
Okay. So you get your $20 worth of weed from the weed man and you're out of there. Okay. Was he by himself?
Oh, no, they had maybe one or two other people in the store with him.
Okay. All right. But what has just taken place is you just bought $20 a week from this kid, right?
Correct.
Okay. And that appears to be the long and short of it. You left out of there. Your job for the day, at least at that point, that location was done.
Correct.
You missed cat attack.
That was a cat sneeze.
Oh, cat sneeze. Okay.
2 cat sneezes in my face. Are you right? Are you okay? I think the cat's allergic to me. He's never done that. I saw him open his mouth and I was like, oh God, what's about to happen? And I was like, sneeze. Okay, I'm going to have to play that back later. That's funny.
Welcome back, Dave.
Oh, no
Dave.
problem.
Yeah, we are currently hearing the testimony from Mr. Undercover, who can't show his face, who does drug purchases and then call in the cavalry after he's gone.
Well, how special for him.
Yeah. And he's been doing it for quite some time, apparently. but yeah. And the person he is buying from was charged and took a plea deal for possession of cocaine in 2020. And is not a part of this trial other than they claim he's an associate of Mr. Williams and the YSL.
Cool.
Yeah, so there's a weed man, and you can also have a weed woman. I don't know if you can have like a weed like transitioning person.
We don't assume gender. We don't
discriminate. No, maybe there's a weed weasel, weed hamster.
Could be
weed
a
cat.
they them. It could be I don't know, a he man. Could be yeah. Whatever bakes your cookie, I don't know.
Bakes your cookie, yeah.
$20 a week sale. Right. Okay. And then you left and you told the takedown unit. Did I get that right? Is that named it?
That's correct.
Okay. They're the folks that you would call and say, hey, I just bought $20 worth of weed. Come and get the guy.
Correct.
And you weren't there, but presumably they went to go get the guy.
Correct.
Okay. There wasn't anything else going on at the location when you pulled up, right?
Oh, no.
No, nothing else, just some kid who you asked for and got $20 a week from.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
That's all.
They are rolling through the witnesses. I do like that.
Yeah.
They are.
Okay, Mr. Sharp. I think his name is actually Mr. Sharp and nothing else.
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm all right.
Just a couple questions. Mr. Beebe, first of all, did you see him in court today?
No, let me see.
I like these defenses. I like this guy because he comes out sharp, short,
Mr.
to the point.
Beebe, on that day that you encountered him in the gas station, he was wearing white shoes, white pants, and a blue jean jacket, correct?
Correct.
Is there any
Yeah, this goes towards because the prosecution are claiming the YSL has specific colors, and they also claim they are connected to the Bloods, which means that this man who wore white shoes, white pants, white shirt, and a jeans jacket, that doesn't really goes towards what the prosecution claims that he is. Clearly an YSL associate.
I forgot I have controls. I agree. This lawyer's a rock star.
Yeah.
You have controls, do you?
Yeah. But it's amazing because pre-trial, it was all about Mr. Steele. And now everybody else steps up. In particular, Mr. Sharp and, I forget her name. The female defense attorney.
She's awesome.
Yeah. So they are really stepping up for the rest of the team as well.
Cool.
I call this guy Angry Man. You're very angry.
And then he asked, so any other clothing description that you recall? And this goes directly towards the prosecution's claim that we heard last week. Oh, they wear their specific colors and bandanas, and you see it on the belt and stuff like that. But this guy, all white and a jeans jacket.
clothing description that you recall?
That's what I saw, and that's what I gave out. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Nothing else.
Anybody else have any questions? All right. Any redirect from the state?
Just briefly, Your Honor. Officer Applewhite?
Yes, sir.
Are you looking for crime or targeting people?
Crime now.
And why are you targeting high crime areas?
Because that's where most of our incidents
That's where the crime
shootings, drugs, a lot of the, community members, they complain a lot. I'm speaking for Zone 4, and that's why we're in the area doing what we're doing.
And were you looking for weed for yourself?
No, sir.
Was this the purposes of targeting high crime areas?
Correct.
No further question.
Anything further?
You weren't targeting on this day shootouts or killings or anything like that. You were targeting retail, right?
Again, the detail was a Zone 3 detail. All I know was to do is to go buy some drugs, not necessarily weed, maybe crack, some pills, depend. But at that particular time, that's what I was going for.
Your assignment, your focus at that time, at that location, on Cleveland Avenue, was to go buy some weed.
Some drugs, yes, sir.
Thank you.
Anything further? All right, at this point in time, may Officer Applewhite.
So the guy that he was targeting isn't that in the courtroom,
Officer
right?
Applewhite, thank you for your patience with us. I'm going to permanently excuse you as a witness.
No, he is not in the courtroom. He is not in the RICO charge at all. Never been. This particular crime that he pled guilty to was done in January of 2020, and now it's allowed in. Yeah.
I mean, but don't discuss your testimony anybody except the attorneys in this case, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, State, call your next witness, please.
Yes, Your Honor. The state calls Officer Jen Hawkins.
I'd summon Officer Hawkins, please.
And Jasmine Hawkins. Yeah, this is more about the 1 gram of weed
okay?
pie.
All right, you can film. Yes, thank you.
$20
All right,
for
Officer
1 gram
Hawkins,
of weed.
good afternoon. Madam, come on up.
Seems
If you
like a
please
lot.
approach the witness stand. Once you get there, ma'am, raise your right hand for me, please. You solemnly swear affirm the evidence you're giving the matter now and hearing to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. You are so affirm?
I swear.
Okay, you can please be seated.
Why is she wearing a mask?
All right, madam, if you could say and spell your first and last name for the record, please.
Yes, first name is Jasmine, Jasmyn.
I don't believe her. I can't see her face.
Maybe she's allergic to a cat.
I don't believe anything she says. I can't see her face.
Currently Magavro, Mogavero.
Well, we couldn't see the other face.
Magavro's fine.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. I'll bet who's last name. Officer Magavero, where are you currently employed?
City of Atlanta Police Department.
And how long have you been with the police department?
Since August of 2017.
And what is your current assignment?
The larceny from auto unit.
And how long have you
Somehow
been
this seems more.
From February of 2023.
If you can tell the jury briefly about your history with the Atlanta Police Department, starting with your assignment at the academy.
Okay. So I've been sworn since March of 2018. June, I was assigned to Zone 3 Morning Watch. I worked there until February of 2020. That time I was assigned to the Zone 3 Crime Suppression Unit. And then I stayed there until August of 2022. And then I went to Zone 3 Day Watch for a few months until coming here.
So let's say that good majority of your career so far has been zone.
Correct.
Okay. And are you post certified?
I am.
And were you
Correct.
post certified in May of 2020?
Yes, I was.
I want to take you to May 9, 2020. What unit were you assigned with AP?
The Zone 3 Crime Suppression Unit.
And what were your job and responsibilities working with Zone 3 Crime Suppression?
It's a proactive patrol unit. So conducting traffic stops, stops on suspicious persons in the community, or whatever other.
What is the point of the mask
we
if
have
it's
for that
under
day.
her nose?
Usually proactive.
Yeah, I mean, they should object to it because, as Nathan says, right to confront your accuser. Because everybody else is 6 feet away.
Yep. Take the mask off. It's obviously you're not using it for what its intended purpose is because it's below your nose and you're just using it to hide behind it like a coward that you are, ma'am. And I can't judge you because I can't see your face, so I don't believe a thing that you say.
No, I assume she's there to lie.
Yep.
Because if you can't show
Only
your face...
cowards and liars hide behind masks.
In court. I have to add that for Swedish reasons.
In court.
In court.
Yeah, because how is the jury supposed to evaluate her? I mean...
How's anyone supposed to evaluate her? Yeah.
Well, I think you're doing quite a good job of evaluating her right now.
Well, just by the fact that she has a mask on, but that's it. I'm saying I
Yeah.
don't believe a word that she's saying.
Yeah, that's our evaluation, because if you can't show your face to the jury, then don't show up at all.
Just an everyday disease carrier, nothing to see. Move along. That's perfect.
I love it.
Oh,
that's good.
No, I'm for if you want to use it, use it. If you don't want to use it, don't use it. If you're in court and testifying, take the fucking mask off.
Yes.
She's an officer, right?
Yeah.
Police officer, yeah.
Maybe it's like some sort of protocol because she's just tested positive in the last sort of 5 days or something like that, and she has to do it.
I love that I can hit chat. I forget it's not my stream. Sorry, Edie, what were we saying?
Okay, so maybe it's some sort of protocol within her jurisdiction that if she's tested positive sometime in the last sort of 3 to 5 days, she has to wear it to avoid
quit trying to inject reason into my arguments.
I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm saying that that's shitty policy. But if that's the case, maybe that's why she actually has to.
That would be the judge's discretion, and apparently he allows it.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good thing. I'm just saying that maybe it's not her choice. Maybe she has to. Yeah. Sorry, David. Now he's gone. He's just like, no.
You ruined his logic.
Oh,
dry
your eyes, princess. Come back.
And you also said you served as a patrol officer within that thing.
Correct.
As a patrol officer and also work with the crime suppression unit, were you familiar with 151 Cleveland Avenue?
Correct, yes.
How are you familiar with
I'm going home now.
I've answered a number of 911 calls there. I've completed traffic stops where people have pulled into that gas station, directed patrols, going inside speaking with the clerks at the gas station as well.
Why are there directed patrols at that location?
151 Cleveland Avenue, it's part of it's high crime at that location and in that general area.
And when we say high crime, what are we referring to?
Shootings, drugs.
I'm going to show you what's already been admitted as Exhibit 78J. It should show the screen.
Oh.
Excuse me, 79.
Click to add a title. How fancy is that?
And looking at 79J, where is 79J?
This is from the front of this gas station, 151 Cleveland Avenue Southwest.
And is that what you were just referencing as a high
Is that the
crime?
ice cream truck with no ice cream in it?
Now, when you go out to patrol,
Fondian, is that right?
why are you going to that? What brings you to that area to target patrol?
Just due to the nature of crimes that happen at that station, at that intersection, Cleveland Avenue, Old Hapeville, supervisors and probably coming from the top down, they want to make sure those areas stay safe. So they ask us to spend some extra time there.
And in your experience, are you getting any calls from community members about that location at 151?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
So in your experience, the community is concerned about what happened there.
Okay, just saw an update. Apparently, somebody called YFN is also a rapper. He is also facing RICO charges in Atlanta, Georgia, scheduled to start early next year.
See, they get a hold of things and they just run with them. Ooh, this was successful enough to get to trial. Let's run with it. Just like the witness intimidation in Canton, Massachusetts. Ooh, that worked. Let's run with it.
Yeah, so if Trump's RICO charges moves forward, that means we could have 3 simultaneous RICO trials in the same county in Atlanta, Georgia.
You think they have? You think they had an idea, like a sitcom, and they're just gonna beat it until it's dead?
Yeah, and I'm just thinking how many people in Atlanta, Georgia will not have their day in court because of 3 ginormous RICO trials.
And there'll be no lawyers, like none. Absolutely no lawyers available.
Yeah, I mean, which public defenders will cover YFN? And that, if I don't know enough of that case. But yeah, if I have the time, I will give updates on the Atlanta, Georgia RICO trials.
Wow.
Because there will be trial-free days coming up, and I will try to read up on all of them. At least these 3, just to cover something on the days off I have.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
but let's continue.
if you want to commit a crime, you could pretty well go to Atlanta, right?
Yeah, I mean,
sounds like.
Yeah. Because say
not that I'm suggesting anything.
Every other criminal in Atlanta, Georgia, now is the time to ask for a speedy trial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this means the chief judge and 2 other judges, their docket is full. One with this trial, one with the Trump, and one with YFN. And RICO-trial fills those judges' dockets. Now, there are a bunch of other other judges out in Fulton County, Georgia, because it is the greater Atlanta area. But 3 of them being occupied for months. I mean, how many people will not get their day in court because of this?
Well, they could just keep them locked up. I think Georgia needs a major overhaul in their criminal justice system. And hopefully the Supreme Court spanks them around a little bit and they start making some serious changes. We'll see.
Yeah, because if Young Thug, Mr. Williams, if he doesn't take it to the Supreme Court, Trump will.
Yes.
He will take the Georgia RICO Act to the Supreme Court.
Yeah, and Georgia just had its arses handed to it with the U.S. Supreme Court just the other day, and they haven't even issued their ruling yet. So we'll see how that goes. I just wanted to pop back in and say hey from the treehouse, but I do have to run. I got to finish these oatmeal raisin cookies with my wife for a party that I'm not invited to. So yay!
Oh, you're not invited.
No, I'm not invited.
You don't actually look like you're that upset about that.
Oh, I am so terribly upset. I really wanted to go.
Did you?
That's Australian sarcasm. I'm trying it out. How's it working?
Yeah, we're not being sarcastic. Like
you're being
you
sincere.
think I'm being
Just
sarcastic all the time, and it's just my accent.
I know, I do. I think you're sarcastic all the time.
I'm not.
Come to find out, she's been sincere this whole time.
I have been sincere. I'm always
You called me a very sexy man earlier, and I didn't spot an inch of sarcasm.
No,
it's amazing how
tone. You're lovely.
It's amazing how tone is interpreted depending on what you want to hear, Nick.
Exactly. Exactly.
Hey, I'm a good-looking man.
He is actually he's a very good-looking man, and I'm not being sarcastic at all. But I just I'm not into white men clearly, but I can see the sexiness in this man. Look at him. Look at his.
You know, I'm 1% Middle Eastern. EU.
Looks.
I'm just letting you know.
You're 1% Middle Eastern.
Yeah.
Well, I'm purely Scandinavian, but go back a few 1,000 years, my people's DNA is all over the place.
They were spraying it everywhere.
You're spraying it, yeah. Your shooters, not dribblers.
Yeah. And thank you, Bass, for your $2 super chat. Thank you. Sounds like Mr. Rico is filling up Fanny. Yeah.
All right. We'll see you guys. Take care.
Yeah. We're both fine specimens. Okay, bye.
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 Oh, wait. I got to actually.
You do.
Yep.
Nick is a shooter, yes, so.
But let's continue with the trial so we get done, because I have work tomorrow morning. This morning.
Yes.
I'll sustain this form. You rephrase it.
Have you ever seen concerns about the application from them?
Yes.
I hear Mr. Harvey mumbling in the background. If there's an objection, please state it. Okay, overruled. And your objection, Mr. Matthews, is overruled as well.
All right. I want to direct your attention to May 9th, 2020. Did you have the occasion to respond to 151 Cleveland Avenue?
Yes.
Why did you respond to that location?
We were in the location. There was an undercover officer at that location looking for drug activity at that gas station.
And do you recall what time of day did you respond to that location?
So that would have been about 9:46 at night.
I see you open up and I look. Is that your police report?
It is.
Okay. We're looking at a copy of your police report. Have refreshing memory as to what time you responded. I'm going to show you what it is. Permission to approach your honor?
You may.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 108R. Tell me if you recognize Exhibit 108R, and you can flip it.
I do, yes.
Okay, and how do you recognize the 108R?
This is the narrative portion of my incident report.
Okay, and we're looking at Exhibit 108R, how the freshman remembers what time you arrived at the location.
Yes.
Okay. You can go ahead and just read it to yourself and once your memories refresh, you can look at it.
I'm all set.
Okay. What time did you go there?
At 9:46 p.m.
All right. And what happened once you arrived at the location?
We received word from the undercover officer at the location that he was just sold 1 gram of marijuana inside the gas station. And then at that time, he gave the description of a black male wearing jean jacket, white pants, white shoes, who sold him that marijuana.
Once you had that description, what did you want to do?
All of the units that were there that day pulled into the gas station. There were numerous other people at the gas station as well, but that was the main focus at first. And then when I approached, I got out of the vehicle. Other units had already got out of their vehicles and were in the process of detaining that male.
Okay, so let's slow down. You said there were a number of different locations going on there. What do you mean?
So I can't give the exact number of officers that were there that day, but there were other vehicles that were associated with the vehicle that Mr. Beebe was in, and that they were seen interacting with him as well prior to arrival.
Those other people seen as regular Mr. Beebe?
Correct.
All right. And what kind of car was Mr. Beebe?
He was in a white 2020 Honda Accord.
Now, were you all able to detain Mr. Beebe?
He was detained, correct.
Okay. Where was he seated when you all first interacted with Mr. Beebe?
He was in the passenger seat, front passenger seat.
And if you just said I apologize, what kind of car was he in?
A white 2020 Honda Accord.
Okay. And once Mr. Beebe was detained, what happened next?
He was detained, and then at that point I started my search of the vehicle.
Okay. And what, if anything, was found when you did your search?
So there was 13 grams of marijuana in a clear baggie that was found inside the vehicle, the passenger seat, as well as a marked $20 bill that the undercover officer initially had, and that was used during that sale of that 1 gram of marijuana.
Was there anything else recovered?
From inside the vehicle, yes. There was a small bag.
These will be 191 tiny little trials in one. So this the number of witnesses you see here regarding this 1 gram marijuana buy. That's is probably how they tried Mr. Beebe, with the same witnesses in the same fashion. So we are now watching more or less, maybe not the entirety, but maybe this was, since it was just a tiny amount, he was ultimately convicted or took a plea deal about. We are talking about maybe an hour in court, but a lot of negotiations backstage. But that hour in court means that another person, a victim possibly, can't get their day in court. Pisses me off.
Backpack, a multi-color backpack. It was on the center console, front center console, and there was additional marijuana found inside that backpack.
And who did that backpack belong?
That was Miss Chastity Williams.
Okay. Once you found the marijuana inside the car, did you arrest Mr. Beebe?
I didn't place him under arrest. He already was detained, but at that point, the marijuana on the seat was determined to be his.
Okay. And was there anything else recovered from Mr. Beebe?
There was also a firearm recovered from him.
And was it recovered from his person?
Yes.
And that firearm that was recovered, was that firearm ran? Was it run? Did
Yes.
you run
Yes, it was.
And what happened once you ran the firearm?
It was.
Also saying this, just let me rephrase now.
Sure. Did you recover a firearm?
I didn't personally recover, but it was recovered on scene, yes.
Okay. And when that firearm was recovered, did you run? Was the number?
Completely useless witness, because he just went there.
Do you know who ran the firearm?
I ran the firearm.
You ran the firearm. Okay. And when you ran the firearm, what happened?
The firearm came back as stolen.
And did you ultimately collect that firearm?
It was collected, yes.
Okay. And what about the marijuana?
The marijuana was also collected as well.
Did you? Commissioner Coach,
Yes, you may.
I'm going to first show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 90K, 89K, and 90K. Tell me if you first recognize Exhibit 89 and 90K.
Yes, 89K I recognize.
Okay, how do you first recognize 89K?
This is the 1 gram of marijuana that was sold to the undercover officer.
Showed up.
And what
Yes, I
about
ran this gun in the system, and it came back stolen, and then
This
out
is
again.
the remaining marijuana that was recovered from inside the vehicle.
Okay, and was that recovered again? Where was that recovered again from the side of the vehicle?
On the passenger seat.
And where was Mr. Beaton sitting at?
He was in the passenger seat.
All right. And does that appear to be, based upon looking at the bag, what you collected back in Vegas 2020?
Correct.
You're right, just gonna say like the tender Stacy said that 89K and 90K is happening.
Any objection to 89 or 90K?
Objection.
89 and 90K are admitted, maybe published as you see fit.
Mr. Evans, you wanna look at the firearm? Now I'm gonna show you what's the market, 91K.
Okay.
You can look at it, tell me if you recognize 91.
I do.
Okay, and how do you recognize 91K?
This is the firearm that was turned in, that was on Mr. Beebe's person, and the serial number matches as well.
Okay, did that appear to be the gun that was recovered off of Mr. Beebe back in May of 2020?
It does.
All right, Your Honor, just have to say like the senator says that the 91K is happening.
Any objection?
Objection.
I states 91K is admitted and may be published as you see fit.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah, if you have a Rumble account, please that link on that is pinned on the top of the chat, and follow me there as well.
Once you collected the evidence and turned it into property, did that include your involvement in this case?
It did.
All right, I have no further questions.
Cross.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mr. Adams, whenever you're ready.
About 2.5 hours ago, I mentioned that. This is all. Let's just watch this great cross-examination, because this is good. Hey, Brandon. Welcome to the clusterfuck.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Let's go.
Investigator.
Investigator, thank you. And you'll excuse me, I heard your name earlier. I heard you say Hawkins, but I think you said it's changed, right?
Correct. It's Magavaro.
Magavaro?
Correct.
All right, thank you. Investigator Magavaro.
Correct.
All right, so just a couple questions, if you don't mind, about this incident back in, and I keep hearing May the 9th, but it was actually May the 8th, wasn't it?
Correct.
Okay. All right, so if I heard correctly, you responded because there was an undercover sale that had been made at that location, right?
Correct.
You advised that there was a $20 marijuana sale that had been made. I don't know if you knew at the time the name of the person was Vivi, but you had a description of the individual.
Correct.
Right. And when you got to the location, you saw someone fit in that description, jean jacket, white pants, and that person was in a vehicle.
When I saw him, he was no longer inside the vehicle.
Okay. So first time that you get to the location, he's already been detained or taken into custody or whatever by other police officers.
Correct. They were actively detaining him.
Okay. And they found, let me see, the item that you were just asked to identify a little while ago, that I think is over here now. So you identified two things. One of them was the 1 gram of marijuana that was sold to the undercover officer. That's it, right?
Correct.
And then there was some marijuana found in the car that Mr. Beebe was supposed to have been in.
On the passenger seat, correct.
On the passenger seat.
Mm-hmm.
But he wasn't in the car when you pull up, right?
Correct.
Okay. You just know that you were told that there was some additional marijuana found on the passenger seat in the vehicle that he supposedly was in before you got there.
Correct.
All right. And what, 14 grams of marijuana?
Correct.
This right here?
Correct.
Okay. And $20, was it $20 that $20 that the undercover officer had used to buy this 1 gram of marijuana, right?
Correct.
Okay. Started off and it was gun that was found there for this young Mr. Beebe was found on him or in the car where he was supposed to be.
On him.
This white Honda Accord was determined to have been owned by a young lady, or a lady, I'm not sure if it was young or not, Chastity Williams, right?
Correct.
She was detained, and I think, was there some marijuana found on her as well?
It was not found on her person. It was inside of a backpack that she advised was hers.
Okay. And there were some other people there at the location that the police had detained and searched and I guess found some marijuana on also?
Correct.
Okay. So it sounds like everybody there, whoever happened to be there at the gas station at the time, was either stopped or if they were coming into the gas station was stopped and detained and searched, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Well, sorry, not everybody. There were people that were not detained there as well.
At least 6 folks, right?
Yes.
Okay. Ranging in things from a couple grams of marijuana. That's the kind of, I mean, essentially that's what happened. You guys, whoever was detained, if they had some marijuana on them, oh, they're either going to jail or they're getting cited or they're getting arrested or something like that, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. That was the extent of your involvement in this case.
Yes.
Were you part of the FIT unit or the FIT team at that point? Okay. Everyone who was there, all of the law enforcement officers who were there were FIT team officers, right?
No.
No? They have just other regular beat officers who were called to the scene to assist?
There were canine officers there as well who are not part of the FIT team.
Gotcha. Because of course, if you got some marijuana, or if you think that you're going to find some marijuana, you want to have the canine around to go ahead and kind of sniff around and find whatever's there. Is that about accurate?
Correct.
Okay. This was a marijuana buy operation. This wasn't some sort of gang operation, was it?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you, Magavra.
Correct. Thank you.
Thank you.
It had nothing to do with gang
Can I
operation.
tell you to get up? No. Okay, go sit back down there, okay? Because there are higher considerations other than you. Well, you don't understand, you want to take a comfort break, is that right? See? All right, okay, all right. Okay, so we're going to take a comfort break, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take, let's come back at 4 o'clock, okay? And then we'll start back at that time. Mr. Sharp, you can ask your questions then, sir. We're in recess, 15 minutes.
Yeah, and that means that the judge needs to have a bathroom break, and he doesn't care if they're not done with cross-examination.
No. Correct, yes. Why?
And that's why we are.
See here. Comfort break is a poo-poo break, Bass.
Officer Applewhite?
Yes, sir.
Are you looking for crimes or targeting people?
Crime.
Oh no.
Why are you targeting high-crime areas?
This was the law and C word. They fill in the breaks. Which was more than 10 minutes. Fast forward.
And that was used during that sale of that 1 gram of marijuana.
Thank you, Gigi.
Before we summon our jurors, can I get a member from the defense?
Great, Gigi.
Thank you so much for gifting. And This Way Up was gifted a membership.
Oh,
And
cool.
For you who are given a membership or chooses to become a member, that's $3 a month. And you get access to all the members-only content. And I have lots of it. According to my members, I have by far the most members-only content among law tubers. And you also get access to my Discord, where you can keep discussing the cases and write memes and stuff like that. Yeah, thank you so much, Gigi. I much appreciate it. But we are back from the comfort break.
Everyone's comfortable?
Sure. Yes, and Northern State, if you want up.
And it is sidebar counter 28.
Ready?
Speed ahead. What the frick?
Are you looking for crime support?
Hey, I'm not Biden. You're related to I'm not Obama?
Please don't videotape.
We're in the process of detaining that male.
Okay.
23.
What's the market space is it 108R?
Let's speed ahead.
Ah, right. You've got 2 accounts. Feel free to subscribe to my channel on both. And Dali's. I'm sure you're already subscribed to Nick on both.
At some point, is he going to be the next witness?
No, Your Honor, we have one witness before Officer Fikes.
Okay, are we going to get to Officer Fikes for today? You think?
It depends. I don't know. I guess we're almost finished with cross, and our next witness, Mr. Garcia, is not a long witness.
Okay,
So we could.
all right. Mr. Mayor, when the call Officer Fikes, given the issues that I told you earlier, not this next witness is fine, but with Officer Fikes, if you would not film him as well, okay? And I believe that the state is going to organize a meeting for all the councils for the respective media outlets to discuss with you next steps. So that's in the works and it's coming. But for the next witness, okay, Officer Fikes, please don't videotape him, okay? All right, thank you. All right. Can I call in the jury, ladies and gentlemen? Okay, please come up. State, would you please come up?
Okay. And we got 2.
Okay, start radio.
Sidebar counter 29.
I was going to say, surely not. Really? We're almost up to 30.
Yeah. This is trial day 6, and we're almost at 30 sidebars.
No.
Speed ahead, speed ahead. Oh, come on.
Okay, summon our jurors, please.
Okay, now we finish the cross-examination. Usually, there are none. I mean...
Not this many.
I mean, for instance, in the Dinkins trial, I think there were less than 10 that entire trial. That entire 3.5-week trial. It was less than 10 sidebars.
Let's see what Aaron can come up with.
Nick, do you think it's because there's so many parties involved?
Could be, but also they pre-trial, the judge kept saying, I will handle it when it becomes an issue in trial with a lot of things. So once in a while, now's the issue, and then it's a sidebar. Or if they handle it in a hearing in between breaks and stuff.
That's great. Surprise, Richie.
All right. Mr. Shaw, you ready? Okay, come on up.
Yes, everything I make through super chats.
May it please the court. Good
And
afternoon.
stuff goes
It's
to
Investigator Magaville.
Mavo.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Couple questions. 151 Cleveland Avenue, this gas station. Is that? Are you familiar with that area, generally speaking?
Yes.
Okay. That is right across from where the McDonald's used to be on Cleveland Avenue.
Correct.
All right. So, were you the lead? Would you consider yourself the lead officer in this case?
Yes, they asked me to take the case.
Okay. And you're the one that wrote the report?
Correct.
Okay. And you were responsible for making charging decisions in this case?
It was a collective effort.
Okay. Were you one of the people consulted?
Yes.
And ultimately you were in charge of documenting everything, correct?
Correct.
Did you take out the warrants as well?
It was a collective effort for that.
Okay. And I'm not going to ask you specifically about any laws, but generally speaking, as an officer, are you trained in criminal laws?
Yes.
Is that part of the training offered by Atlanta Police Department?
Yes.
And did you go through that training?
Yes.
Now, are you familiar generally with the criminal code of Georgia?
Yes.
Okay. All right. My understanding is Mr. Beebe is not the only individual that was arrested at 151 Cleveland Avenue that afternoon or evening.
Correct.
Okay. Also arrested was Chastity Williams, correct?
Correct.
Okay. For drugs.
Correct.
Shaquille Scott was also arrested.
Correct.
For drugs, including possession with intent to distribute drugs, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Antonio Johnson was also arrested for drugs.
Correct.
And I'm going to try with the pronunciation of this in Madam Court Reporter.
I don't think she has the flu because she doesn't have it on properly. I think that's just an excuse because she doesn't want to show her face. But if she doesn't want to, she can ask the judge or the prosecution, please don't show my face. Because now Mr. Williams is denied his right to face his accuser. And she is one of them. And everybody else is 6 feet away. She could have worn it on her way there and on her way out and then just removed it while she sat there. So, yeah.
So I believe it's Cyquavious. Sequavious Martin was also arrested at the scene, correct?
Correct.
For drugs?
Correct.
And a Curtis Barber, who was 35 years old at the time, correct? Which would make him 39 today, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he was also arrested for drugs, a firearm, and for possession with intent drugs.
Correct.
So you arrested, besides Mr. Beebe, 5 other individuals for drug offenses, 2 other individuals with possession with intent to distribute charges, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And that was based on your training that you received about the criminal laws of Georgia?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Now, in any of these individuals, in the arrest of Chastity Williams, Shaquille Scott, Antonio Johnson, Sanquavious Martin, or Curtis Barber, were any of those individuals, or Durante Beebe, were any of those individuals charged with Gang Act violations?
That I do not know.
Well, did you charge them with Gang Act violations?
I did not.
Okay. And those same 6 individuals, Durante Beebe, Chastity Williams, Shaquille Scott, Antonio Johnson, Sanquavious Martin, and Curtis Barber, do you see any of those individuals here today?
Can't see everybody, but no.
None of them are there.
Nothing further. Thank you.
Any further examination?
And none of those were charged with gang activity. And only BB was in the record is shown as associate with YSL. But yeah, isn't that weird? That's a good cross.
Yes,
Your Honor.
Yes, Mr. Matthews Jr., go ahead, sir.
Hello, how are you?
So back in May 1820, at the 151 Cleveland, there were a number of officers who arrived to the scene, correct?
Correct.
And you did conjure a report in connection to your involvement in that case, correct?
Correct.
But in your report, you did not reference any video graffiti, any photographs taken or any video that was taken with gang graffiti at the premises of 151 Cleveland, correct?
Correct. I did not.
And as a result of your involvement in that case, you didn't refer
to any gang unit you didn't refer to any gang units in reference to your involvement within that case?
No, did not.
Anybody else from the defense? Okay, any further redirect from the state?
She is trained in gangs and stuff like that, and none
As Zone 3
of these.
officer with the crime suppression unit, are you responsible for taking out gang one?
No, I am not.
Who's responsible for taking out any gang one?
Anybody who's on the gang unit.
I believe both Mr. Adams and Mr. Sharp asked you about some of the other individuals found and some of the other items that were found at this scene during this evening. So we talked about Ms. Chastity Williams. She's the person who had was she the person in the car and had the book bag with marijuana?
Correct.
Sustained.
Ms. Shaquille Scott, what drugs were found with Ms. Scott?
Again, he's not even.
Ms. Scott had
He's so far away
a
from
pink
this
purse
pilot.
on her person. Upon search of that purse, there was a total of 29 grams of marijuana located in a clear plastic bag. There were 15 smaller bags of marijuana as well. There were 2.2 grams of crack cocaine, 9.7 grams of MDMA located in 12 separate baggies, and 1.6 grams of powder cocaine along with $35 US.
And as it relates to the next one, Mr. Antonio Johnson, what was found? What things have drugs were found with Mr. Johnson?
Mr. Johnson admitted to having a blunt inside the car.
Hold on a second.
And I mean, all that drugs and nobody was. First of all, none of them has ever been in this trial, and one of them is accused of being associate
Going to
to
Mr.
YSL.
Cornelius Martin, what weapon and drugs did he have?
This is the state
3
case.
grams of marijuana located in his right pants pocket.
And was Mr. Martin actually arrested, or was something else occurred?
He was given a copy of charges.
Okay. And let me go back, as to Ms. Chastity Williams, was she arrested or was she given something else?
She was given a copy of charges.
Okay, so not arrested.
Correct.
And Mr. Curtis Barber, what drugs did you find with Mr. Curtis Barber?
Yeah,
He
we
had
had because this is not interested.
What kind of
PR.
this gonna
that you
what was called
They are only talking about.
So it sounds like there were a host of people at that location who were either possessing drugs, right?
Correct.
Or possessing with the intent to distribute drugs, right? Or maybe even selling drugs, right?
Correct.
A lot of people, a lot of different people, right?
Correct.
Okay. You were asked a while ago whether or not you took out any, or you had the responsibility for taking out quote unquote gang warrants. You heard that question, right?
Yes.
And you said, no, that's not your responsibility.
Correct.
But someone else, if advised by you, and if you thought it was warranted, would have the ability to do so, right?
Not only if advised by me.
Okay, if advised by anyone, any law enforcement personnel who had any indication that there was some gang stuff or activity going on at the location that night, right?
Yes.
Okay, so this is May the 8th of 2020, right?
Correct.
Am I correct that in 2020, 2021, whatever, no one took out any gang warrants in regards to what happened at that location on May the 8th of 2020? No one took out any gang warrants, right?
I can't answer that question.
Did you?
I did not know.
You advise anybody to?
No, I did not.
Are you aware of anybody taking out any gang warrants based on what happened at that location on that day that we're talking about?
No, I'm not aware of any.
All right.
Yeah.
The
Not
last person
until
Madam Prosecutor
they
asked about,
decided to bring
Barbara, I think was his
RICO.
name.
Everybody was
That was
brought
money
in for
on
RICO
him.
for
What was he
gang
wearing?
fraud.
Describe his clothing to me if you don't mind.
I don't recall.
Okay. All right. Thank you, ma'am. That's all I have. Thank you, Judge.
Anybody else? Any further redirect, madam?
And again,
Sure, we'll see.
In addition to the $20 that Mr. BB had, was he found any other money? Mr. BB, in addition to the $20?
The marked $20, did Mr. Beaver have any other money on him?
Yes.
Okay, how much?
$105.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, but
anything further? All right, at this point in time,
Permanently or temporary excuse patients with this after.
okay. this next witness will be the last for the day.
All right, Ms. Hilton and any member of the defense, can I see you all for a second?
Oh.
Got another one.
And we got 2. Sidebar counter. No, 30.
Oh.
So
unbelievable.
5 sidebars a day in on average. That's astoundingly many.
Elaine will be proud.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have it on proof. Feelings, okay? Reset, okay?
You want to speak?
All right, Mr. Smith, go ahead, sir.
Speak on Edwin Garcia.
All right, summon Edwin Garcia, please.
To witness stand. Once you get there, before you sit down, if you'd be so kind to turn and face Sergeant Ingram, be sworn as a witness.
Yes, sir.
All right.
You swear to affirm testimony you give the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
State spell first and last name, of course, please.
My name is Edwin Garcia, first name spelled E-D-W-I-N, last name spelled G-A-R-C-I-A.
Good afternoon, Mr. Garcia.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Garcia, where are you employed?
I'm employed at the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, Division of Forensic Sciences, in the chemistry section. This is also known as the State Crime Lab.
And how long have you been working at the GBI?
I've been working at the GBI for a little over a year now.
And can you tell the jury a little bit about your education and training?
Certainly. So I earned my Bachelor's of Science degree in chemistry from Morehouse College, and I underwent the identification of genus cannabis training program at the GBI.
In that role, do you have any continuing education requirements?
Yes, I do. I have to fulfill hours of training throughout the year at the GBI, and I'm also still undergoing lectures that are oftentimes presented at the GBI.
And Mr. Garcia, have you personally had an occasion to chemically analyze leaking material?
Yes, I have.
How many times?
A little over 200.
And how many reports have you prepared in connection with your testimony?
Yes, a little over 200 as well.
Mr. Garcia, what is delta-9 THC?
So delta-9 THC, or delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol, it's a cannabinoid found in the plant material of the genus cannabis, and it is the main psychoactive ingredient in cannabis.
And how do you test for that?
So to test for delta-9 THC in the plant material, I first collect a net weight of the evidence. A net weight is the weight of the evidence without any packaging. After that,
yes, Mr. Garcia is a professional weed controller.
Weed tester, actually.
Weed tester, weed controller. Is it weed? What type of THC is in it? Or not what type it is, but what's the grade? Yeah, that's his job. He tests weed.
Yep. He's stoned right now.
I then conduct microscopy on the evidence, where I look at the smaller characteristic features of the plant material. After this, I then conduct gas chromatography mass spectrometry, abbreviated GCMS.
Okay, that's 10 times fast.
Sample, then I'll run it on the instrument. It'll go through the first part of the instrument known as the gas chromatographer. At this point, what the gas chromatographer will do will separate the sample that I prepared into the individual components that make it up. Once it exits the first part of the instrument, it'll then enter the mass spectrometer, the second part. Here, what happens is that all those separated individual components will be fragmented. Those fragments will then be collected as data in the form of a graph known as a spectrum. I can then compare the spectrum of my sample data to that of a...
Yeah. He tests weed, and he tested this weed and concluded that it was weed. And a few other questions. Let's skip ahead to
I could tell him it's weed. Give it to me. Also, what's cannabinoid?
In this case?
So the items that I tested were 2 bags of leafy material. The item that was submitted was item 9. I tested sub-item 9A, 1 bag of leafy material, and item 10, which had 1 bag of leafy material, which I tested as well, making the 2 bags of leafy.
And did you use the principle that you just talked about when you perform a test in these cases?
Yes, I did.
And based on your testing, excuse me, were you able to reach a conclusion?
I was able to reach a conclusion.
And what was that conclusion, sir?
For item 9, sub-item 9A, my analysis confirms the presence of plant material of the genus cannabis with a greater than 0.3% tetrahydrocannabinol concentration. For
3%.
item 10, my analysis confirms the presence of plant material of the genus cannabis and contains less than approximately 1% tetrahydrocannabinol.
That is extremely weak weed.
That's like the leaves. That's not even bud.
Yeah, that's leaf material, not bud.
How embarrassing
material.
getting caught with that.
Yeah.
Really?
Less than 1%.
That's what they're being charged with? Really? Really? We're in court for that?
Yeah. They were caught selling bad weed.
They're caught being selling leaf. Oh my God, that's what you sell teenagers.
For the Swedish authorities, I do not condone any weed and stuff like that, because I'm Swedish and our laws against weed are extremely harsh. But
clearly, this like all kinds of cannabis is completely illegal in Georgia, right?
Yeah.
So okay, so this is bad stuff. This is really, really bad. This is clutching the pearls kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, this is more or less hemp. I mean, it's yeah. I was
think of the children.
Think of the children.
Won't somebody please think of the children?
Love it. That was brilliant. Oh my God.
Yeah.
He smoked a few in his time. He's tested a fair bit.
Yeah.
He would have chucked those leaves out if it weren't his job.
Light it up, boys.
Unbelievable.
That's what we've got on tap tonight over here, because it is
wrong.
He's not an idiot. He's just Swedish.
Goodness me.
Oh.
No further questions this item.
Cross. Ms. Adams.
What a joke.
So, see, you still have that report there?
Yes, sir, I do.
Yeah?
You may.
Thank you. All right. This is a report prepared by you in regards to the items that you tested, right?
Correct, yes.
And am I correct that you tested these items on,
they are more or less smoking
on January 27th,
rope,
2023?
not blunts.
Is it fine if I look at the report? Okay. Yes, January 27th, 2023.
Okay. So items that were seized back in May of 2020 didn't get to you until January 2023, this year.
This wasn't tested until after the prosecution told the court they were ready for trial. Yeah. So they knew that jury selection would take so much longer time, so they started testing everything after they told the court they were ready for trial. I could and I will argue, once the prosecution says we are ready for trial, everything stops.
Yeah.
Because you claim you have enough evidence. Good. Hand it over. I don't care if the jury selection takes 11 months. I don't care. You said you were ready for trial in November of last year. And then here we are, over a year later. And over a year later, we find out that these fuckers kept on. They weren't ready for trial. They just wanted it done before her next election.
You're right, Orlando Red. I just noticed those pearls. You're right. They are Barbara Bush.
Oh. Mrs. Bush Senior. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's the only similarities.
That's true. She's quite pretty, actually.
But let's finish this off.
Let's do that.
I don't know when they were received, but I do know that I got them this year. Okay, you don't know when the person, I'm sorry, let me see that quick.
Yes, sir.
All right, you would agree with me that this has a agency reference number and a case individual at the top list, is that right?
Correct, yes, the report does have that.
The case subject, so the person listed is someone named Durante B, right?
Yes, that's what it says on the report.
Okay, you don't know if and when that person, Durante B, was charged with any sort of offense, but you know that you didn't test this item to determine what it was until January of this year, right?
Yes, I don't know when the subject was charged. I just know that I received this evidence this year, and this year is when I tested it.
All right, Mr. Garcia, thank you. That's all I have. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else? All right, state having redirect.
No.
All right. May Mr. Garcia be permanently or temporarily excused the witness?
Yes, sir.
Permanent?
Perfect.
All right. Mr. Garcia, thank you for your patience with us. I'm going to permanently excuse you as a witness. You're free to go about your usual duties and avocation. Just don't discuss your testimony by except the attorneys in this case, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, sir.
Okay.
For the witness to the park.
Move forward to
I believe that we're going to probably leave around 4, and then remember Thursday and Friday will be augmented days to allow you all to have some, make other plans and appointments, okay? All right. Any questions of me, ministerial in nature?
Yeah. Thursday and Friday will be
You got a lot of
shorter
work,
days.
man. I'm trying to ask.
Thursday and Friday will be shorter days. They're only doing morning session. So no matter how late they start, they will finish at lunch. So this means Thursday and Friday. Thursday I will stream when I get home from work. I don't know when that is. But good news, I have Friday off. So I will stream that live. And if I don't know when it starts, but I will have. They usually start 9:30 to 10 o'clock, or that's at least what he says. When they actually start, that's another question. And Friday I will also stream because I believe last week was a hearing in the Trump RICO case. Now, Mr. Trump, former President Trump, wasn't there. His lawyers was. But I will stream that on Friday as well.
Are they streaming that? Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that hearing was
think they
streamed live. So I will stream it to you, my audience, so we can see what the Trump RICO trial pre-trial hearing is all about. That will be interesting. But let's listen what they say to each other after the jury leaves as we finish off.
Councils. Okay, before we recess, when we do recess, Mr. Harvey, can I talk with you about an unrelated ancillary matter? And I do want to just kind of put this on your radar. I get a lot of inquiry from people in regards to just everything that goes on. But one of the inquiries I have is in regards to being able to hear everybody. Okay, and I would just tell you all, and I think Ms. Weaver has basically reinforced this ask of you, and because she's responsible for taking down the verbatim record. If you could please, for those of you who are not using the microphone, do that, because it produces better audio in terms of just being able to be heard, as well as for Ms. Weaver to hear everything to take up the record. So some of you speak very loudly as a matter of course. It's not an issue being heard, but some of you could work on just the timbre and loudness so that everybody can hear you, in particular, Ms. Weaver, okay? All right, so Mr. Adams, I don't think you have that problem, okay? You're good, all right? But no, just that it's been mentioned to me that some of you cannot be heard. So please just work on that. And,
most of you cannot be heard.
All right. Anything else from me? All right. So I'll see everybody tomorrow morning for 9:30, and we'll get started between 9:30 and 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, okay?
All right, unless there's anything else, we're in recess. All right, see you tomorrow.
All right. That was.
It's cool.
Yeah, week 2, day 2 is in the back mirror, and I will join you all tomorrow, probably around the same time as today. Same with Thursday, but Friday this will be live, actual live, and I hope that you can join me if you can.
Thank you so much for allowing me to do this, Nick. You are the coolest Swede I know, and I actually do know some Swedes. I could say you're the coolest Swede, and then that meant nothing. However, I do know quite a few Swedish people actually through my dancing community and stuff. And you're the coolest Swede I know by like tons, by miles, by the Alps. You're very high on my list, and you're also a very handsome man.
Oh, thank you.
You are, and also all of your chat absolutely adore you, don't they? Everybody, come on, everyone, just give Nick a bit of love. Give Nick a bit of love, because I know you've been working really, really hard at work. You've had a really busy week at work, and then you come home and then you stream all of that for everybody, and then you go and share your stream with me. So what a kind-hearted person you are.
Oh.
And everyone should just be giving you all the gifted memberships, all of the super chats, all of the everything.
All of the everything.
All of the everything.
I can handle it.
All
Give
to
it to me. I can handle it.
And
you can't handle the truth.
I know you're not going to say no to all the love. I know you're not. You do like love.
Yeah. Okay, I will be sending over to Steve Gosney, who is making his last stream for a good while.
I thought he had his last stream already.
Yeah, but he has one left. It's an interview. This will be his actual last stream for a good while. And I hope I can convince him to join me for my Serial Killer Saturdays sometime in the future, but not in a near future. He needs to prioritize, and he chooses other things than YouTube's. And I completely understand his choice. I do. I mean, he's a Florida death penalty appellate lawyer. I mean, that's rough. And then he writes every book and every article in the world on top of that. I mean, guy is busy. But yeah, I will be sending you over to him. Tell him I said hi. And thank you, Hella, for joining me in this. And,
very, very much.
Yeah. The rest of you, thank you for being here. And thank you for allowing me to try to guide you through the clusterfuck that is the Young Thug RICO trial. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.